Shot, rebound, picked up, Keno Hill, what a great save! Stone cold, wow. John's right, genius shot, game over! That's the trophy, fireworks on. The atmosphere is electric. Here we go!
Welcome to the Infinite Energy Arena in Harris, Cherokee Casino Field in Duluth, Georgia for the Champions Cup of the National Lacrosse League. Tonight, game one of the best-of-3 series between the Saskatchewan Rush and the Georgia Swarm. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Zinno. Welcome in. My partner this evening, as always, Brian Silcott. Brian, these two teams, the best in each conference. You couldn't ask for anything more as the Champions Cup gets underway.
Yeah, when you have a league and you want to set up a championship game, you want the two teams that everyone believes are the best. We absolutely have that tonight. We have two teams that both believe they deserve to win this championship. It's going to be an outstanding 2 out of 3 series.
Well, nearly 5 months ago, both these teams started the season against each other, and coincidentally, they'll finish the season against each other. And in that matchup nearly 5 months ago, history was made as for the first time, 4 brothers were on the field at the same time for a professional sporting event, the Thompson brothers being showcased. But early on, it was problems for the Swarm as Brody McDonald struggled between the pipes.
Yeah, Brody McDonald, the returning goaltender, did a pretty good job for the Swarm, but he was beaten out by Mike Pullen. They put him in this game. Mike Pullen took the reins and has led this team on a fantastic run throughout the 2017 season.
And while Pullen was making saves, the Thompson brothers for the Swarm got it going. Miles Thompson netting 2 goals, including an assist from his brother Lyle. Randy Stotts also got in on the action as the Swarm poured it on and won the game 18-10. That matchup back on January 7th seems like forever ago. But one thing that has materialized in that matchup is the 2 top scorers in the NLL are on both these teams, and those are our player spotlights. For the Saskatchewan Rush, it is Mark Matthews, second in the league in points.
Yeah, Mark Matthews may be the best player in this league. He is 6'3", 230 pounds, and he has outstanding hand-eye coordination. He catches everything that's thrown to him. He's great at scoring. He's also more than willing to distribute. Just an outstanding lacrosse player.
Matthews was only bested by Lyle Thompson of the Georgia Swarm in just his second season in the league, leading the league in points with 116.
Yeah, so if Matthews isn't the best, guess who it is? It's Lyle Thompson. And completely opposite. He is 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, but he's lightning quick. He is super, super strong, smart, creative, and just a fun player to watch. Watching these two go against each other this week is going to be outstanding.
Well, we got a chance to speak with both of the coaches before tonight's game. And Derek Keenan of the Saskatchewan Rush says he barely remembers the matchup from 5 months ago.
I'm not sure I believe Coach Keenan. What he told me is that he's very, very confident that his defense has matured and they are not giving up 18 goals anymore. They did 18 last time. They haven't done it since. He is sure they will not do that in this championship series.
Ed Como of the Georgia Swarm just said it's about playing Swarm lacrosse. They've been one of the most consistent teams in the league. They've just got to hold it together for 2 more games.
Yeah, and lots of coaches say that, right? But he firmly believes it. They are the best team in the league. If they play their game, they win. It's as simple as that to him. It means ball movement, it means organized defense, and they come out with a victory in this series.
Brian, before we start with the face-off, a key to the game for each team.
Yeah, with the Swarm, it's what I just mentioned. It's ball movement on offense. They're at their best when everyone's sharing the ball and no one cares who does the scoring. They just keep moving it till the opportunity shows, and they throw it in the back of the net. When they do that well, they score in bunches, 5, 6, 7 at a time at times throughout the season. And on the other side, we have the Rush. So how do you stop a team that moves the ball well? You stay super organized on defense, tight, communicating, working as a unit instead of a bunch of individual matchups to keep everybody out of the center and provide your team a chance to win the game.
And so both these teams, much different than they were 5 months ago in this initial matchup. And when you look at the playoff sample set, Brian, in and of itself, Georgia hasn't really been that offensive juggernaut they've been all year long.
Not as much in the playoffs. We think that's probably due to the individual games, less than them slowing down. I have no all the comments in the world. Their offense is going to be fine.
All right, let's throw it down to our public address announcer here for player introductions.
Here is your 2017 East Division champion, your Georgia Swarm. First up, everyone's favorite mascot, number 1, Stinger. Now from University at Albany, number 2, Miles Thompson. Wearing number 4 from University at Albany, Lyle Thompson. Out of Rochester Institute of Technology, number 10, Alex Krepensek. On deck, out of Syracuse, number 11, Joel White. From Belmont Abbey College, number 13, Connor Sellers. Now, number 20 from University of Delaware, Jordan Hall. Out of Colgate University, number 25, Leo Storos. Next from Johns Hopkins University, number 31, John Rannigan. From Hobart College, number 37, Ethan O'Connor. Next up from Robert Morris University, number 46, Kyle Matisse. From University of Maryland, number 55, Brian Cole. Wearing number 83 from Syracuse, Randy Stotts. From Cornell University, number 85, Mitch Bularo. Out of Six Nations, Ontario, number 93, Johnny Powless. And now for your goaltenders, number 30 from Kitchener, Ontario, Mike Poulin. And from Burnaby, BC, number 50, Brody McDonald. Now the captains of your Georgia Swarm. From Limestone College, number 32, assistant captain, Shane Jackson. Out of Cornell University, number 45, assistant captain, Jason Noble. Out of Rochester Institute of Technology, number 24, your captain, Jordan McIntosh. The Swarm is coached by head coach Ed Como and assistant coaches Sean Ferris and Dan Ladiseur. Let's hear it for your Georgia Swarm. Now, fans, let's welcome the West Division champs onto the field, brought to you by Peachtree Orthopedic Clinic. Here they are. Let's show the Saskatchewan Rush and their head coach, Derek Keenan, some Southern hospitality. Tonight's NLL officials are Crew Chief Chris Williams, Assistant Referee Todd LaBlanche, Assistant Referee Matt Garrison, and the shot clock operator Jeremy Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the many lacrosse league players of Canadian descent, please stand and turn your attention to the turf as Davis Elementary sings the Canadian anthem. Thank you, Davis Elementary. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as Regina Love, a Season 9 finalist from NBC's The Voice, performs the national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bolts bursting in air, gave room to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Regina Love.
And wonderful job by the young folks at Davis Elementary and Regina Law and both the Canadian and American national anthems as the hive gets filled up here and the excitement starts to build. Brian, you know, in a game like this, when you're a veteran team like the Saskatchewan Rush, who has won back-to-back Champions Cup, it's, you know, they have all the momentum on their side, and the Swarm in their first ever. As you take a look at the midfield right there, Jeff Francoeur, former Braves player, is going to handle the ceremonial face-off / ball drop, whatever you want to call it, and that'll happen here in a moment. But you can see that the teams around their respective goals, and I don't know what last kind of second preparations you have, but what are the discussions going on right now?
The discussions are entirely about doing their jobs, about everyone doing what they need to do to contribute to the team to be successful, and generally it ends with everyone throwing a little bit of love and support to the goaltender before they line up for the game. That's kind of the pattern that happens every single time. You talk about what you need to do, and then you tell your goalie, get it done for us.
So again, the Saskatchewan Rush, two-time NLL champions, defending Champions Cup champions, and the Swarm playing in their first ever Champions Cup final. As you see Jordan McIntosh move to the center along with Chris Corbeil for the ceremonial face-off. Again, former Braves, Atlanta Braves first baseman Jeff Francoeur and Georgia native going to be part of the ceremonial face-off here. It's customary before every NLL game, and a great tradition that the league has in doing this for every game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's all about building the lacrosse community and bringing different people into it. A lot of people out to see this game today from the sports world in Atlanta as a greater sense.
And we get a look right there at Aaron Bold, the starting goaltender for the Saskatchewan Rush. 11-22 goals against average. That's fourth in the league of guys who played at least 10 games. Look, he's been fantastic. He's a veteran and he knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah, just solid goaltender. Stops the ones he's supposed to and occasionally gets a great one.
And, of course, there's Mike Poulin. 11.77 goals against average, second in the NLL in number of saves with 646. We talked about in the open how he took over for Brody McDonald, and it's been his job ever since, and the Swarm have relied on him heavily this year.
Absolutely. When he took over, he was no newcomer to this game at all. He's won a championship in the past in Calgary, an outstanding netminder, and he's been a huge difference for the Swarm this year.
Derek Keenan, head coach of the Saskatchewan Rush, behind his bench right there as his team gets ready, and we are away. And a quick face-off violation will give the ball to the Swarm as we get underway game one of the Champions Cup between the Saskatchewan Rush and the Georgia Swarm.
You mentioned the coaches. I think we have the two best teams. We probably have the two best coaches right now in the league as well.
Shane Jackson stumbles to the turf and then gets checked. Ball is loose and fought for by Lyle Thompson. And possession going to be awarded to Saskatchewan, not the first possession that the Swarm wanted or are used to.
No, you mentioned earlier, in game one, Saskatchewan came out hot and got up early on the Swarm. The Swarm definitely does not want to see that happen again tonight.
And so the Saskatchewan Rush will set up in their offense. And here comes Robert Church, one of the top scorers, working through the middle as Mark Matthews gets it. Now back to Knight. Knight pump fake shot. Deflected wide and goes into the netting, and the possession will be awarded to Saskatchewan. I don't know that they realized that the ball was deflected into the netting because they all ran back to make a change.
And you got a little glimpse of Mark Matthews there. His dodge attempt was just running straight into his defender. He is 6'5", 230 pounds, just an absolute bear of a man.
And right there, Conocello, 6'3", 215, matched up against him. So two big dudes going to be checking up against each other all game long. And a low shot is wide by the Rush. Long rebound goes out to Curtis Knight, and he grabs it again. There's only 8 on the shot clock, and a laser from Matthews deflected into the netting one more time. And so another 30 seconds for the Saskatchewan Rush.
Yeah, and that's when things start to get difficult. When you're playing defense with 2, 3 shot clocks in a row, you get tired. That's when you start making mistakes.
And there's Robert Church pulling up to the task one more time. And the Rush will retain the possession after a shot from Church is deflected, or rather Adam Jones, ball's fought for in the corner, and still loose. 3 Swarm players, now 4 Swarm players going after it against 2 for Saskatchewan. Finally, Jordan McIntosh picks it up, and the Swarm will run into the offensive zone.
You definitely don't want to play 4 shot clocks in a row, but when you do it and keep the other team from scoring, it can definitely build your confidence as well.
And a quick check knocks the ball right out of Johnny Powers' stick, and here comes Saskatchewan back on the other end, as Matt Hossack can't hold on to it and the Swarm get it back.
Yeah, just got a little bit too deep there with the ball. Probably should have moved it to the low man earlier. I don't know if you realized that he had actually a 3-on-2 there and not a 2-on-1.
While Matt Hossack, who plays for Saskatchewan, is here in the Atlanta area, his brother, Graham, plays for the Atlanta Blaze in the MLL.
I'm sure he's here watching tonight.
Shot deflected, never made it on cage. 8 left to shoot for the Swarm. Matisse swings it around to Stotts, who scores! Not much time left on the shot clock. Matisse found an open man. Stotts buried it.
Yeah, and Randy Stotts is always dangerous when he's that close to the net, and especially from that type of low angle, though, because he's able to reach around his defender, extend those long arms, and uses the bounce to improve his angle and put it on the far pipe. Aaron Bowe doesn't see that ball until it's really close to the cage.
And he had a very small window to get that shot in going on the far side of the net, not the near side, as you saw as he beat Aaron Bold on his left side, and the Swarm take the early 1-zip lead.
Yeah, 2 of the best in the league at that shot are Randy Stotts and Johnny Powers on the lefty swat side for the Georgia Swarm.
Jackson with the face-off win for the Swarm. Jackson coming into tonight, or McIntosh rather, winning just over 50% of his face-offs, and his 213 face-offs won during the regular season, 3rd in the NLL. And here is Lyle Thompson, and Matisse is going to let one fly, and he scores! Little too much room for Kyle Matisse, Brian.
Yeah, I think that's what the Rush are going to have to start talking about, is they need to step up a little bit more on shooters. You want to protect your inside and not give up inside shots, but if they're hitting from the outside, you have to extend a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how the Rush respond to this.
You mentioned Mark Matthews at 6'5". Kyle Matisse, 6'5" himself. A lot of power behind that laser.
Yeah, this is not your local youth league or even your local high school team where, you know, a 6-foot, 200-pound player is big. These are big, strong, grown men out here playing lacrosse.
Jeremy Thompson of the Rush wins that faceoff. And he gets checked up on, ball's loose, and then picked up by Mike Messinger. And he runs in, he lets a shot go, that's deflected, never made it on cage. And a long rebound will be chased near the midfield line by Thompson. And a nice feed pass to Mark Matthews, whose shot was high. And here we get Ben McIntosh working behind the cage. Ball's loose on the turf. It looks like Leo Storos picks it up for the Swarm, and here goes John Rannigan. And that was a heck of a pass by Messinger, or by Thompson rather, to find Mark Matthews cutting.
Yeah, brilliant pass by Thompson. Great catch by Matthews. He wasn't quite able to pull. He tried a similar shot of reaching to the far side, but wasn't able to pull it back onto the cage.
And a feed inside the Miles Thompson. He gets checked up on, ball is loose on the turf as Corbeil fights for it. And now given over to Hasek.
Solid defense there by the rush. That was a fantastic catch by Miles Thompson, but the defender all over him and checked it away immediately.
Dinsdale comes around the screen, now pulls back, sliding to his left with an open shot. Pulling with the save, Blyle with the rebound. And he feeds it out to Jason Noble, and the Swarm have a 2-on-1. Over to Noble, shoots and saved by Bold. Nice pump fake there by Noble, thinking he was going to Thompson.
Yeah, Noble was hoping to get Aaron Bold to pick up that stick and get it to 5-hole, but Aaron Bold stayed right where he was, just sat on it, shot it right into his stick.
McIntosh up against the boards as this rush working around the perimeter. Now here comes Matthews one more time for a high shot that's stuck on the back of the netting, and the Swarm pick it up. They're closing out on Matthews very quickly.
Yeah, you see Joel White, what he's trying to do there, you're not going to stop him. You're not going to physically stop him, but what he's making sure is he's running across the floor and coming flat across and not getting an angle towards the goal.
I got to tell you, it's got to build a lot of confidence early for Mike Poulin to be stopping some of these shots. Even though they're point blank and not terribly tough, it's just a good feeling that you have the ball hit your padding and know that you're stopping shots.
Absolutely. It's good for your goalie's confidence.
And Jeremy Thompson puts one in. They said, don't forget about me, I'm Big Brother.
And Big Brother he is. He's more of a face-off guy, transition player, but very, very capable in the offensive end. He's got great skills. He sees his opportunity. He knows the defense is playing a little bit of chaos in front of him. He tries to catch the goalie off balance and put it by him before he's able to get set.
And I don't know if Poulin got screened there, but he didn't have much of a movement on that.
He was definitely screened by his own by the defender in front of Thompson. Otherwise, Thompson, I don't think, would have shot that ball. He uses the screen. He catches him a little bit off balance, and Poulin really didn't see it.
Well, Poulin's confidence that I just spoke about, probably waning a little bit after that exchange. But Thompson, who doesn't have a single point in the playoffs, gets his first right there. And now it is Adam Jones on the far side. Jones back to Matthews. He gets it right back. And Jones slides up. Now here's Knight. 10 left to shoot for the rush. Ben McIntosh looking to come around the screen and does. Flips it across to Matthews, who dives inside, flips it back to nobody. Ball is loose on the turf, and we're going to get a shot clock violation on the rush. Great defense by Georgia.
Yeah, and one of the tough things about guarding this Swarm team is that Mark Matthews is dangerous both on and off balls. You always have to be aware of him.
An exciting first couple of minutes here. Game 1 of the Champions Cup. You're watching on NLLTV.com.
Missed the action in the NLL last weekend? Maybe you want a little analysis. Mia Gordon and Tyson Geik break things down twice a week in the NLL's flagship show, The Box. Catch all of the highlights, scores, and exclusive interviews in both our pre- and post-game episodes every week on NLLTV.com.
Welcome back to the Infinite Energy Arena, Harris Cherokee Casino Field. Head coach of the Georgia Swarm, Ed Como. You know, we spoke with owner John Arlotta before the game, and he said, you know, he's such a great teacher. Before the final practice, he took his team to a spot on the floor and asked them what this spot was for. And Ed Como told his team, this is where I want you to celebrate when you win the Champions Cup. That's how confident he is.
Yeah, and when you talk to Ed Como, he'll quickly defer credit to his team, to Sean Ferris, his assistant, to Dan Lattisaur, his other assistant. But make no mistake, Ed Como's in charge of this team on the floor.
Johnny Pallas gets his first touch of the evening, and Shane Jackson has to work his way back. Jordan Hall, the guy we like to call the Swiss Army knife for the Georgia Swarm, does a little bit of everything. A great offseason addition for them. 10 seconds left to shoot for Georgia, and here comes Miles Thompson, gets checked to the turf. Lyle does, rather. And the Swarm just trying to get something on Cage to keep the possession alive, cannot. And it's a shot clock violation on Georgia.
And that's a good picture of what Saskatchewan's capable of doing on defense. I mean, they just made Georgia look disorganized and sloppy right there. No fault of Georgia. That's just great defense, taking away great opportunities and being physical when they needed to.
And here come the rush on offense. Keep trying to connect. They're trying to connect on that cutter a lot and missing so far.
Yeah, Mark Matthews has thrown that in there twice. Once I think it actually hit the defender, and that time it really wasn't open either.
Here's Brian Cole.
But that's the kind of confidence these players have. They see a stick head, they're throwing the ball in there to give the guy an opportunity to catch it. And the skill is so high that they often do catch those balls when they're guarded.
Here's Matisse in the corner coming around. Gets checked up on by Ryan Dilks and has to give it away. Shane Jackson with a low bounce shot, saved by Rush, and finally corrals the rebound.
See Jackson trying that bounce shot to the far post from the opposite side there. Just set it a little bit high over the crossbar.
Curtis Knight checked up on by Rannigan. And now on the far side. Oh, a nice move right there. And Mark Matthews just left a jockstrap right on the field. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and that's...
Oh, and a goal by Curtis Knight. Mike Pullen gets beat on the short side on a really weak shot.
Yeah, that one was from a little bit of a ways out, and I think those are the ones that you kind of expect your goaltender to make. It is through a crowd. He has two defenders and an offensive player. Pullen absolutely did not see that ball. Interesting thing before that, going back to that brilliant move by Mark Matthews. That's what you can set up by being a physical dodger. He runs straight into you 3 times. The 4th time he's coming at you, swim move, he's by you.
Curtis Knight's second goal of the playoffs ties things up at 2 as we're coming up on the halfway point of the first quarter. And a face-off violation by the Rush will give the Swarm the possession. And here's Jordan Hall. And the thing about both these teams, they have in common, they have so many guys who can do things for you offensively.
It's unbelievable. It's like 2 all-star teams. There's so many talented players really at both ends of the floor on both these teams.
Stotts flips it over to Matisse, thinks about a shot that is high and wide, and that rolls back over the midline, and it'll be an over and back on the Swarm.
Yeah, Matisse taking that from his offside, really from the lefty side there. Matisse taking that shot, but I think he saw that top left-hand corner, and honestly, I think if he had hit it, it may have gone in.
And it looked like he was aiming top shelf.
Yeah.
And just a little bit high. And here come the Rush. And here's Robert Church cutting through some defenders, slipping and falling to the turf. Still manages to hang on to the ball, feeds it back to McIntosh. Now over to Matthews, shot save from Poulin. And give Church a lot of credit for not losing that possession.
Yeah, and a great skip pass there, but the Georgia defense holding tight, really hadn't shifted across to help on the opposite side, so the defenders were right there when that skip pass got through.
15 left in this possession for Georgia. Feed in the middle of the hole, who scores? Talk so much about the cutter for Saskatchewan. Jordan Hall did it right there.
Yeah, off the pick and roll there a little bit. Jordan Hall getting to the inside, just slips the pick, beats his man. Messenger is preparing to get engaged in the pick and roll. And Jordan Hall just slips to the inside, catches the ball. Nice fake and finish at the end.
And Hall clearly out of the crease as we get a couple of looks at these replays here. At least Derek Keenan not going to use his challenge here in this spot. But Hall, with his 6th goal of the playoffs, gives the Swarm the lead back. Thompson wins that faceoff, feeds it right into Dinsdale. And quickly they tried to get numbers, Saskatchewan did, almost had him.
Yeah, but they actually had the extra man back on the defensive end on the draw, so even though he won that cleanly forward, he was still short a man because they were playing 3 guys at the other end, their defensive end.
And here's Curtis Knight circling. Sends it over to Matthews. Matthews in the middle of Dinsdale, has to work around a defender, tries to throw it behind his head, and the ball gets deflected up into the cage, and it'll be a turnover. And I thought Dinsdale, had he kept moving, would have had a better opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know if you realized that there was a defender behind him who I think he actually hit with that shot. I don't think he realized that guy was trailing. If he had kept moving forward, he would have been losing some angle with that right hand, but I think he would have had a free shot.
So 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league playing some good defense here at the start. As to be expected when you're at this point in the season. Here's Johnny Powers, flips it back to Jackson, who has to spin around, gives it to Matisse. 15 left to shoot for Georgia. Stotts over to Jackson, shot save from Rush.
And that's one where, Aaron Bold makes that look easy. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do. He's moving from right to left, getting across, and then he's got to get that stick back down on the ground in the 5-hole after he moves. Really nice job of making a little bit of a tricky save look easy by Aaron Bold.
Yeah, Aaron Bold, one of the better goaltenders in the league. And a flip into Matthews shot, and a big save by Poland.
Good look at the hand-eye coordination of Mark Matthews there catching that pass. That was just brilliant.
Poland has made some good stops at the outset here.
And again, the confidence that guys have that they're throwing that ball into Mark Matthews. He's guarded. He's got one hand on his stick. They throw it to him anyway.
Stotts with 15 to shoot. Over to Lyle Thompson in the middle of the tee shot. Save by Aaron Bold. That was a golden scoring opportunity thwarted.
Yeah, Aaron Bold down low once, up top that time. He's up to the task and holding real solid for the Saskatchewan Rush right now.
Robert Church matched up right now with McIntosh, feeds it in the corner to Matthews. And it's Alex Krepensek trying to square up on him. Tries to flip it back right there to Ryan Keenan. Passes Aaron Bold's loose on the turf. They're checking up on Keenan and don't bother to get the ball. The Swarm finally do.
Really nice execution there in the two-man game. They just couldn't link up the pass, but he got wide open on the pick and roll.
Tight as expected, but this Jordan Hall goal is the one that separates them right now. You're watching the NLL Champions Cup on NLL.com and Twitter. Georgia Swarm set an NLL record this year in goals scored and basically did it in one game shy of the regular season. It was their first goal in their final game of the regular season. So their offense really has been on point throughout this entire season. Although we talked about this in the outset that in the playoffs still a little bit stagnant.
Yeah, it's been a little bit slow for them in the playoffs, but honestly, they haven't needed it either. They've done exactly what they needed to win games. I don't think they're at all worried about their offense, and are very confident it'll be there when they need it.
And so it is now Lyle Thompson with the ball in his stick, flips it back to his brother, whose shot is wide. And with 8 on the shot clock, the Swarm trying to get something here. Lyle gets it back, 3 left to shoot, puts it on Rush with the Bold with the save rather for the Rush. And an errant pass from Bold gives it right back to the Swarm. And that right there is vintage Lyle Thompson. He chased that loose ball down.
Absolutely. Whenever I talk to someone about Lyle Thompson, yeah, the offense is the easy thing to talk about, but it's his loose balls, taking the ball away from people, creating turnovers in transition that really makes him special.
126 loose balls, 8th in the NLL. Palace can't corral that pass. He was wide open in the middle.
Great opportunity, just couldn't hold on to it there.
Still fighting for it. Palace looks like he's going to try to get it back. With 5 on the shot clock, finally Saskatchewan picks it up.
Not really sure what happened in that pass with Aaron, but it looked like he almost tried to throw it behind his back and just kind of sailed it into the boards.
Curtis Knight moving around Belial, coming off a screen. Feeds it at the top to Church, on the far side to Matthews, cutting in, flips it back, shot saved from Pullet, ball loose, almost knocked in their own goal by Ethan O'Connor. Ball still being loose, still fought for. Finally picked up by the Swarm. McIntosh fighting for it, gets knocked out of his stick by Adam Jones. Ball loose once again. Rannigan going for it. Finally Matthews picks it up. And Matthews paid the price as he got checked to the turf. Here comes Messinger cutting through some traffic. He gets ridden down hard. Gives it up. And now 10 left to shoot for Saskatchewan, and a delayed penalty call coming up on the Swarm.
Yeah, I think they got up in the head a little bit there on Messenger as he was coming across the middle.
And Dinsdale tried to send it over to Keenan, missed the pass. And the shot clock violation will stop play. But the Saskatchewan Rush are going to head to the power play.
After a wild flurry of action there. Loose balls, body checking.
Ethan O'Connor almost knocked it in his own net. So Ethan O'Connor is going to head to the penalty box. And we'll see what happened here. And I think you were right.
Yeah, right up in the head there.
Right there it was. No. Well, that was Sellers.
Yeah, I think O'Connor was involved in the initial contest. Sellers probably hit him harder in the head. They both actually made contact with the head, I think, though.
So first chance look at special teams. And right there, Mark Matthews buries it. Didn't take long for the Rush to tie this one up.
No, that's the most dangerous weapon you can have on the power play. If someone that can just shoot it from the outside, it starts to force the defense to extend more and really cover that up top, which opens up things down low. Beautiful shot by Mark Matthews there on the power play.
Poulin actually got a piece of it.
Looked like he got a piece of Poulin on the way in. But he had him beaten there with the lean to the left there a little bit and going back to the right side.
So tied up at 3. 2:16 left. McIntosh and Thompson, Jeremy Thompson, will start the face-off, and McIntosh sends that one back, but it goes right into the stick of Ben McIntosh of the Saskatchewan Rush. It's a tough way to lose a face-off, Brian.
Yeah, he's been outstanding all year for this team. Jordan McIntosh, their leader, their captain. He does a little bit of everything, but it's the face-offs this year where he's really done a great job, winning over 50%.
Matthews again with a little bit of room, gives it back to Ben McIntosh, matched up against by Belisle. Over to Knight in the corner, comes out around his screen, gets away from Rannigan. And a pump fake in the middle to Jones, who sends a shot, and Poulin knocks it wide. And another one by Poulin deflected aside. McIntosh with the rebound and a shot right on goal. And here is Jones once again, throws it on the turf, and I'm not sure what Brian Cole was hoping to accomplish by throwing that into the netting.
I think his fear was he didn't want to be scrapping for a loose ball right in front of the cage. Better to get it reset off in the corner.
Well, the only downside to that is it gives Saskatchewan another 30
the ball.
seconds.
Absolutely. And that is a sizable downside.
Matthews tries to flip it in the air and getting checked as Robert Churchy hangs on to it and sends it across to Keenan, whose shot is deflected wide. And it's going to roll over, and the Saskatchewan Rush will end up being over and back.
Great job by Cole creating that turnover. Just reached out with the stick just enough to throw that off course and create a turnover.
So under a minute left. And Jackson tries to send her over to Miles Thompson. Can't complete the pass. Ball is loose on the turf. And being fought for, both the Thompson brothers, Miles and Lyle, in the scrum, and picked up somehow by Randy Stotts. Goes on net, shot saved by Bold. Somehow Randy Stotts came up with that in a golden scoring opportunity.
A great job by Bowles. I think, at least I thought for sure Randy Stotts was going to attempt to dive across the crease, and instead he tried to go quickly on the short side, I think anticipating Bold moving across for the dive.
And it looks like we're going to get a penalty on the Swarm here, and it looks like it's going to be Randy Stotts for a delay of game.
Georgia 83, 2-minute minor delay a game, checking through the crease.
Wow, I didn't see what happened as the ball was away from the crease at that point in time.
And I'm not sure what the second part of what the official said there. Something about the crease. I'm not sure exactly what he said.
Check
I couldn't
through
understand.
the crease is what he said. And so the Rush go back to the power play with a chance to close out this first quarter with a lead.
And they go dominant left on the power play almost every time with Mark Matthews up at the point.
Matthews at the point, lets one go and scores! Matthews with his second with 9.4 seconds left. Stotts comes out of the box, and Saskatchewan has a lead.
And the first one, Mark Matthews just left alone. This one, they use a little bit of down screens to prevent the defenders from getting up. You can see that down screen up at the top of the picture that prevents the defenders, actually both of them, getting down screen, not allowing the defenders to come up and guard Matthews. Wide open shot like that, Mark Matthews is going to hit it more times than he misses.
And they fight for the face-off. Ball is pushed and picked up by the Swarm. And O'Connor throws it, or Brian Cole throws it into the offensive zone, and the horn sounds, ending the first quarter with the Saskatchewan Rush having a 4-3 lead over the Georgia Swarm. It's been nothing but excitement here at the Infinite Energy Arena for the first 15 minutes. Back with the second quarter of Game 1 of the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
This past NLL season was incredible. It was exciting. It was jam-packed with amazing goals.
Here's Miles Thompson, flips it back and scores!
Incredible saves.
Carlson with absolute robbery on.
And huge games.
And he ends it. Vancouver is going home for the playoffs.
And if you don't have your subscription to NLLTV.com, you're going to miss out on all of that action during the 2018 season. And can you imagine if your group of friends is sitting there talking about the greatest plays from the night before, and you're the only one to not have your subscription? You're going to be missing out.
Don't be that person. Make sure to head on over to the NLL website to get your subscription today to make sure, well, you're part of that conversation, and also to make sure that you don't miss a minute of 2018.
I've got mine. She's got hers. Get yours today.
Batted down, picked up there by Georgia, inside view, Thompson backhander scores! Wow! Wow is right, that's a phenomenal goal.
Welcome back to the Infinite Energy Arena and Harris Cherokee Casino Field here in Duluth, Georgia. Game 1 of the Champions Cup between the Rush and the Swarm. Rush with a 4-3 lead alongside Brian Silcott. I'm Mark Zinno. Again, this is NLLTV.com and Twitter, where all the Champions Cup games will be broadcast. And we're at the start of the second quarter. You know, a frantic first 15 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, frantic. And I think the story of the game so far is the Rush defense. I mean, they have some of the best defenders in the league, and in Kyle Rubish and Ryan Dilks and Messenger and Hasek and Corbeil. And they've done a great job of keeping that Georgia offense off balance, leading to some bad passes, some short possessions, and really just a solid job so far by the defense.
And you know, Mark Matthews came into this game with more points of anybody in the playoffs, and he added to it. He's got 2 goals to lead the Rush.
And that's an important point. 2 of the 4 goals were just outside shots from Mark Matthews on the power play.
Matthews now with it in his stick, 15 left to shoot, creeping towards the net. Now looking inside, tries to flip it back in the middle. That's the 3rd or 4th time he's tried that and hasn't connected on it yet. And Brian Cole runs into the offensive zone, and he'll wait for help.
That one just kind of fizzled out on him. It didn't even reach the player. It kind of, I don't know, he didn't get enough on it. It only made it about halfway.
It almost looks like the player isn't expecting it. I mean, it's not like a set play. Shane Jackson trying to work around some trouble. Gives it back to Jordan Hall. He winds up, shot deflected high. And we are going to get a delayed penalty against the Rush. So the Swarm will head to the power play here as we get a whistle. Mike Pullen couldn't even get to the bench in time, but the Swarm, with a chance to tie things up, will head to their first power play of the evening.
Stop penalty, 2 minutes, holding the stick.
So it'll go against Ryan Dilks, who had 30 penalty minutes this year.
Ryan Dilks is an outstanding defender. The Swarm this year have had one of the best power plays in the league, and at home their power play has been particularly strong this year.
The best in the league, and Dilks, the former Defensive Player of the Year in the NLL, will sit down for 2 minutes.
4 of those in a row, I think, between Rubish and Dilks.
And here is Stotts, lets one go deflected wide. Miles Thompson almost had the rebound, and Aaron Bolt picks it up.
Yeah, he had it just kind of squirted out of his stick as he tried to cradle it back around.
And Rubish waiting, backing up near midfield. His pass attempt is knocked away by Sellers. And ball loose on the turf being fought for. And somehow Ben McIntosh picks it up. 10 left to shoot for Saskatchewan. Even if they don't get a shot off, still a win for them. Here's Adam Jones. 3 left on the shot clock. And they're going to call a crease violation on Jones, even though he beat Pooley.
Yeah, great effort by Jones. He looked like the left foot stepped into the crease as he started to dive across. But a great effort to get underneath 2 defenders there.
And get a quick look at the overhead.
Actually, both feet may have been in the crease.
Yeah.
He was well into the crease.
Good call by the officials to spot that. And, well, you know what? Derek Keenan doesn't believe it because he's thrown his challenge flag. He's going to take a look at this.
Well, Derek Keenan's been doing this for a long time, so maybe he saw something I didn't see. It looked pretty clear to me that he stepped in the crease there.
I mean, the official was right there. So it wasn't like he didn't have a good vantage point. But obviously the replay will tell us everything we need to know. But you get 2 challenges in the NLL, much like the NFL. And if you get 2 of them right, you'll get 1 more. So, and Keenan felt like at this juncture, a goal is worth it, especially on the shorthand.
Especially on the shorthand. Shorthanded goals are so valuable in terms of your kind of your team's vibe and momentum. If you can score another team when their power play is out on the floor, it's especially
You see
good.
Jones, he gets double teamed by Storos, and you know what? He's got a good case.
Yep.
He's got a very good case right there. That looks like a good goal.
What an effort by Jones.
Unless he hit the turf before the ball got over the goal line. I mean, he's clearly not in the crease. I'm not sure what the official saw. And this is going to be a good challenge, it looks like.
So the difficult thing is going to be for them now.
Did he hit the turf?
They have to have definitive proof that he
Yes.
didn't hit the turf since it was called in the crease. They have to need definitive evidence that he did not hit the turf before the
And
ball went
maybe
in the
that's
goal.
what the official is pointing to. Maybe that's what Chris Williams, who's the crew chief, who's the guy who's making the call right there, and also the guy looking at the review, was saying that he hit the ground before the ball got in the back of the cage.
I think that must have been what it was. From our perspective up here, it looked like he was fully in the crease before he took off.
Let's see if we can get something from this angle. We know his foot was not in the crease. You know what? I think that is a good call now that I get that angle again. If we can get a freeze frame somehow.
And it's the full ball across the full line to create a goal. The entire ball, that's across the entire line. Goal
the
line,
ball
that
is not out of his stick yet. This is beautiful camera work by our techs here.
Ball's still out of the net.
Now he's hit on the ground, and that ball is not in the back of the cage yet.
That's about as close as it can get.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know that there's conclusive enough evidence at this point in time to overturn that.
Exactly. I don't think they can overrule that. But
and believe it or not, I mean, from this angle, I thought before it was a goal.
But what an effort by Jones. And that's an incredible effort to get underneath like that.
I mean,
and get
right
that
there,
off.
he's on the turf, and that ball does not look like it is in the back of the cage yet.
I agree. I agree.
Now, again, remember, it only has to be over the goal line. Doesn't have to hit the back of the netting.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
how can you really tell? I guess now you have to get a overhead shot as well.
Man, and remember, that's shorthand. He's being guarded by 2 men whose only job is to keep him from getting to the cage.
Just what incredible body control. As he's moving to his right, throws it back to the left.
Yeah, just brilliant.
I think conclusive evidence may be the deal here. It's got to be odd as the guy who makes the call to be looking at the review.
You're reviewing
Boy,
yourself.
I was wrong.
It is great that they've been able to add this in this league. Back in the day, you never knew what happened.
Right there to me, he looks like he's on the ground. And again, I can't tell from the angle whether the ball is over the goal line or not. But here comes the crew chief, Chris Williams.
The ball line before the we got a goal.
Wow. So it was a good goal. Derek Keenan with a challenge that is upheld. And he felt like he had conclusive evidence. That is a very tough break for the Swarm, but a great break for the Saskatchewan Rush, who opened up a 2-goal lead.
Absolutely. They're still playing shorthanded. The Swarm will be coming back out. This faceoff will be taken with a power play on the floor.
And now for the next 59 seconds, it's almost imperative that the Swarm get a goal back.
Yeah, picking up one here in the power play would be huge for the Swarm. At least come out even out of this specialty team opportunity. I'm sure Ed Cuomo is saying, look, I was looking at the same video you were. How can you tell me that was definitely a goal?
And you could just see Chris Williams put like his his thumb and his forefinger together to show you the distance of exactly how much.
And I don't think Ed Cuomo's convinced, but that's the way it's going to stand. And yeah, I don't think we can argue with him. And he saw it live and saw the video, so he's probably the best person to judge.
Yeah. Regardless, it's a goal that counts, and the Swarm find themselves in a 2-goal deficit, still on the power play. And I wonder if they were putting time back on the clock and finally get the thumbs up from the shot clock operator. And Thompson wins that faceoff. O'Connor checks him.
And you
tries to knock it loose. Pulling with a save right there on the shot from Corbeil.
You'll see the guys on the faceoff. What they're doing when they're looking up, they're trying to watch for the official about to blow the whistle and get on what they call the front side of the whistle to be the quickest with their hands.
So 50 seconds left in the power play. I think that's what was adjusted, how much time was left in the penalty. And here's Stotts, feeds back to Lyle Thompson. Over to Powers, flips up behind his head, back up to Lyle Thompson. And a pickoff right there by Kyle Rubish. Wow.
He's about as good as it gets on defense, and that's just an outstanding interception.
And they turn it right back over, so the Swarm, with under 30 seconds left, will have another shot at a goal here with a man advantage.
Now, there's some defenders that make their mark running in the middle of the floor and scoring goals. Kyle Rubish makes it playing defense.
Unfortunate for the Rush, because they would have killed off that power play had they held on to the possession.
Absolutely.
And Powers feeds Thompson, flips behind his head to Stotts. Stotts pump fake shot deflected wide. Miles Thompson gets the rebound, gives it to Lyle. He looks back at the shot clock. He's only got nothing left on the penalty. It's just expired. That shot hit off the top of the crossbar, and the rebound goes to Stotts. Penalty has expired. Stotts looking inside, flips it back to Lyle Thompson. Shot saved from Rush. Rebound, score! Bold denied him once, but not twice.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times this year. That's a really tough one for a goaltender when you make the save and it goes right back to that same guy, and he's essentially a cutter now coming to the goal with a second chance to shoot and score. As he follows through, you see both defenders kind of carry past him as they come out to defend, leaving Lyle Thompson wide open.
He won't get an assist on it because of the way it went down, but Randy Stotts drew 2 defenders as he cut down towards GLE and flipped it back behind his head. And a quick face-off win, and a shot from Messinger is wide.
Yes, he would have had the assist on the initial shot.
That's the second time off the face-off that the Rush have taken advantage of getting a face-off win.
Forward right away.
Yeah, going right forward, which is something you see a lot more in the outdoor game than the indoor
Absolutely.
game.
Does not happen very often in this game.
5 left to shoot for Saskatchewan as Curtis Knight sends one into the netting, and it's a turnover.
I think Curtis Knight was really playing for a reset there rather than a real attempt to score, trying to bang it off of the goaltender.
The T's had to be careful. They almost lost the ball to Dilks. Sends it back to Jordan Hall, now turns and spins. Jackson gets it, winds up, shot deflected wide. Lyle Thompson with the rebound, shot another one wide, and Stotts chases that rebound down and sends it right back in as the shot clock was about to expire.
Yeah, just dumping it down in the corner, making them start from as deep as possible, knowing that the shot clock was going to expire. You don't want to turn it over in the middle of the floor.
Smart heads-up play by Randy Stotts. And here comes Messinger. And a shot right there by Keenan. Beats Poulin over his right shoulder.
Keenan, another rookie in this game, and he is the son of the coach. Gets Poulin to go down, actually, it looks like, on that shot, and puts it right up over his right shoulder. Yeah,
that's the second one from at that kind of distance that Poulin's let in tonight.
Yeah, you can see Poulin go down on that right knee, and the shot's actually going high, right up over the shoulder. That's one of the things these shooters are so good at. There's, velocity matters, placement matters, but much more important often is the deception. Getting the body moving, leaning one way, and putting the ball somewhere else to get that goaltender to move and open up the space for you in these small nets to put the shot.
Back up to a 2-goal lead for Saskatchewan. You and I have spent so much time, Brian, talking about how lacrosse, a game of runs, hasn't really been one. Teams have traded punches back and forth all evening long.
Yeah, this has been more one of those sit here and slug each other type of thing more than one team getting out to a lead.
Adrian Soroketti feeds right there. Jeremy Thompson gets a goal. His second of the night. And that was just a transition goal in Spears 4.
Yeah, as I said earlier, Jeremy Thompson is more than capable of putting the ball in the back of the net. He hasn't scored a ton this year. He takes a lot of faceoffs, plays some defense, but he'll get going in the offensive end, especially when he's running in transition. He's particularly dangerous.
And so Saskatchewan now with a 3-goal lead. With 10:08 left, this may be the run that we just talked about for the Rush.
And this is when you want to get organized on defense. Don't start questioning yourself. Stick with the systems. Have faith your goaltender's going to make saves. Get the ball up and out. And give your offense a chance.
There's Matthews coming around the screen. Flips it behind to Keenan. Couldn't connect on the pass. Finally, Keenan gets it. Tries to throw it on Poulin, who stops it. And then gives an outlet pass to McIntosh. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout. And we are. So the Swarm will try to reorganize. Find themselves down by 4. Or down by 3, rather. You're watching Game 1 of the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.
We knew with Warp Generation 1 that we had consistency, but we lacked some hold, and we lacked some whip variation.
So we basically wiped the slate clean and said, all right, how does this thing need to be designed to really maximize the features that we want? When we started digging into hold and whip, what we were finding was the pocket design was just too rigid in key areas where it needed more stretch for feel and hold when catching and shooting.
Tried a bunch of different designs, one which is kind of like a hex pattern, and it was a lot smoother and kind of thinner, but it wasn't as consistent as this one that is more of a 3D diamond shaped one, which we found had the best performance. It was really easy to catch the ball with it, and it provided a lot of hold in the stick.
And now with the Warp Pro, we've got increased hold, we've got increased feel, and we've got these multiple whip variations that are going to be suitable for any player out there.
Welcome back. It's a 7-4 lead for the Rush over the Swarm. Game 1 of the Champions Cup. Now, how does the Swarm regroup here, Brian?
Yeah, they can't be that nervous. They know it's a game of runs, just like we do up here in the booth. Getting down by 3 goals in this league, I'm not going to say it's meaningless. You don't want to be down by 3 goals, but it's very easy to come back. Where you can't start doing this early in the game is questioning yourself, questioning your systems, questioning the plan. You stick with it. Keep playing offense. Don't start trying to score goals. Just keep running your offense, waiting for the opportunities to present themselves.
And so the Swarm work the ball to Stotts in the corner. And he's looking for some space. And we got a broken stick for Lyle Thompson. He has to retreat to the bench. And Powers can't corral that pass. Finally, Shane Jackson does. Throws an air pass off the boards to Stotts. And it's picked up by the Rush as Corbeil takes that one away. And that broken stick kind of set things awry for the Swarm there.
Yeah, once Lyle broke his stick setting a pick, and then kind of chaos ensued. They never got really organized again after that.
They steal it right back, and Mitch Belisle will wait for help before he turns it over. Under 9 minutes left here in the first half. Shane Jackson looking in the middle of the hole, who scores? Cut number 2 from Hall, goal number 2 from Hall.
Yeah, and brilliant pass by Shane Jackson. And the finish was probably even better. You can see Aaron Bold right now down there working on moving from that left to the right pipe. He just didn't get there fast enough that time. And Jordan Hall with a great catch on the backside. He's on the wrong side, left-handed, so he uses the twister to improve the eyes of his stick and give himself an opportunity to throw it in on the short side.
And Swarm fans needed that one. Yeah, face-off violation on McIntosh will give the Rush the ball.
The face-off battle's really been interesting because it's either been a violation or a clean win for each of them almost every time. There haven't been very many battles for the ball. They're probably about 50-50, but it's been pretty clean one way or the other each time.
Well, let's see if the Swarm defense can buckle down, or will the Rush offense find a cutter to Matthews. Oh, that was nice, and he got checked away. That was good defense there by the Swarm, but Matthews, had he held on to that, would have had a golden scoring opportunity.
Yeah, great job hovering on the defense. Even after he caught the ball, Joel White right behind him, trailing him, just came down with the check as soon as the ball landed in Matthews' stick.
McIntosh finds Stott's ball is loose, and McIntosh was getting checked up on trying to make that pass.
Yeah,
you can see the hitting starting to pick up here a little bit.
Stotts had a shot at that, but very physical defense rattled him. He wasn't able to corral it. Leads to a turnover.
And so now the Rush with 10 left to shoot. Here's Keenan. Sends it in the middle to Church. 3 left to shoot. Church getting checked up on, loses his stick. And then ball's picked up by the Swarm. That's the 3rd possession in a row where neither team's got a shot off.
Yeah, and it's been physical defense. It's also, I think, the 3rd possession where someone's ended up on the ground or getting banged around. We talked with the league operations director before the game, Brian Lemon, about the fact that these are both teams that are physical, but they're both very clean ultimately. They're very disciplined. They're well coached. They hit guys. They're going to be physical, but they don't take a ton of penalties.
All right, Ball with another big save on a laser from Jackson, and then the Rush turn it over. A lot of turnovers so far in the first half. And that one right there by the Swarm might have been aided by the official, because Miles Thompson was waiting to play that off the boards, and it hit his foot.
They almost got lucky and it careened right back to Thompson, but then it hit the official in the foot. I'm not sure they deserved possession there because they did throw it away, though.
And here is Adam Jones. Over to Church. His shot is stopped by Poulin. Kind of a weak shot, but it was on cage. And O'Connor quickly moves into the offensive zone. It's been tough. Each team really having a hard time setting their offense up over the past couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I think this plays to the Edmonton Rush's favor. You know, the Swarm really want to get this ball moving and get their groove going, and they have not been able to.
Jackson in the middle of Palace, who scores. Powell's left wide open in the middle. Jackson found him, spun around and buried it.
Yeah, and that's the kind of movement they want, right? They're playing on the righty side. They kick it across hard to the lefty side, then look back to the inside. As a defender steps out, Powell slips to the inside. He's wide open for a finish. That's great ball movement right there. And I say ball movement and body movement. Both are critical. Johnny Powell sliding into the open space there is what made that happen.
Powell's second goal of the playoffs after a 50-point season. Only played 10 games due to injury. And the Swarm win that face-off, and they have clawed their way back in this thing.
And Johnny Powell is one of those guys that very rare in his league do you score over 30% of your shots. And Johnny Powell is one of those guys that's done that. Occasionally you have guys that take low numbers of shots that are able to do that. But Johnny Powell is an offensive player scoring over 30% of his shots, just outstanding.
There is a stick loose on the turf. Can't figure out whose it is. Big scrum for the ball here.
And the shot clock is ticking in the meantime.
And somehow, well, nobody knows who has it right now.
Yeah, the Swarm are perfectly content to keep that ball on the ground because they know the shot clock's going to expire.
The question is, whose shot clock was it? I assume it was...
I was just going to say,
Saskatchewan shot clock because Georgia got the ball.
The Swarm picked it up, I think, right at the end, and then got it checked away.
So after all that, Georgia gets the ball back and an opportunity to tie with 5.5 left in the first half. And here comes Powell one more time, flips it in the middle, and could not connect with Jordan Hall. Hall manages to still maintain the possession with 15 left to shoot. Here's Stotts. And he gets checked into the boards, has to spin away, sends it back in the middle, and Miles Thompson, who is thwarted by Ball, but the rebound goes in! Johnny Powell is picking up the loose trash, gets his second of the night.
This game isn't exactly the same as hockey, but there are similarities, and one of them is getting the ball on net. You want to get shots on net, good things happen. The Swarm tonight have 2 of them off of rebounds. The first one by Lyle Thompson, and this one by Johnny Powell, hanging out in the right spot. Great hands, collects the ball, puts it right back in the net.
Well, it looked like the defenders were following Randy Stotts and didn't see Powell creeping up behind.
And that's what happens in shots and in the chaos. Defenders get lost. They're not sure where the ball is. They're not sure where men are. And if you keep moving, sliding open spots, you can find your opportunities.
Just as a few minutes ago I talked about, not really any runs. Rush went on one, and now the Swarm go on theirs, tying things up at 7.
Mini runs, though, right? We're getting 2 3-goal runs here.
And so now Saskatchewan on the offensive end. Ben McIntosh. Oh, what a cutting pass to Robert Church, and Pullen came up with a huge save.
Huge save, but what a play by Robert Church to catch that ball and get that shot off on Cage.
He was like twisting in the other direction and managed to throw that thing on net.
Yeah, I don't catch that ball. It hits me right in the head.
Lyle Thompson tries to feed it in the middle to Matisse, who can't complete the other end of it, and the Swarm turn it over. And there's Church one more time. He tries to find a cutter and doesn't. Mitch Belisle gets that loose ball and just throws it, and it's picked up by Sellers.
Yeah, I don't know what Church was thinking. It was kind of errant, and I'm not sure he had anyone open, even if it had been on target, though. I think it was one of the ones where he started the throwing motion and kind of realized in the middle he didn't have a good target.
Thompson spinning, sends it over to Jackson. His shot is high, goes off the back of the cage, and it's picked up by Saskatchewan. We've seen a lot of cuts tonight from Georgia. Not something typically that's been in their offensive repertoire all year long.
No, their ball movement generally is more up and down on the side and across the floor in particular. The feeds to the inside a little less common out of the Georgia. When they get to the inside, it's usually by moving their feet with the ball in their stick.
And a give and go for Saskatchewan is wide. It goes back over the midline. It'll be an over and back. And the Swarm will get the ball. Just another turnover. There's been a massive amount of turnovers in this game.
And I think they're being caused by some physical defense as well. They're hitting each other. Both teams are stepping out on the ball carrier, making it difficult to be precise with the passes.
Jordan Hall, Johnny Powell twice tying this game up for the Swarm at 7. You're watching the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
Got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the Infinite Energy Arena, Harris Cherokee Casino Field. A fantastic crowd on hand for Game 1 of the Champions Cup between the Georgia Swarm and the Saskatchewan Rush. Game 2 coming up on June 10th. That game will be in Saskatchewan, and if necessary, June 18th. Back here in Georgia for Game 3, 3:29 left. And of course, it's tied. You would expect nothing less from the 2 top teams in each division.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't ask for much more. We knew both defenses were going to play tough lacrosse. That's led to some turnovers, a little bit of sloppy play here and there. But I think it's really been forced turnovers by the defense, stepping out on guys, checking them. It's been a great half thus far.
So the Swarm start this possession in their offensive zone. Here's Matisse. Spins away from trouble. And then with a beautiful shot saved by Bold.
You see Matisse trying to use that free arm to pin the defender back to the inside, but a nice job riding him underneath where he didn't have a good enough angle to get a good shot off.
And Jeremy Thompson loses the ball for a moment, then gets it back and manages to hang on for Saskatchewan. 10 left on the shot clock. And a shot from Church goes in. Church with 3 seconds left on the shot clock beats Poulin on the far side.
I think that one caught Poulin by surprise. He was not ready for that shot. It came over top of a defender, so there was a screen, but I really don't think that he was prepared. It looks like he wasn't going to do anything, and then Church just comes right back inside pipe and finishes it.
And beats him 5 holes, as a matter of fact.
Was that 5 holes?
Yeah, it looked like it was 5 hole.
But yeah, caught him off guard there. That's one thing in this league. You always have to be prepared. The ball can come at you at any time.
And Mike Messinger taking that face-off for the Rush. And it's won by the Swarm.
Yeah, nice loose ball there by Joel White.
And that goal right there from Church snaps a 3-goal run for the Swarm and gives Saskatchewan the lead back one more time. Stotts over to Matisse. Now to Shane Jackson. 7 left to shoot. Here's Lyle Thompson. Throws it off the boards back to Jackson. He tries to flip it on Cage, can't do it. And with 1 second left, they turn it over.
Good defensive set there by the Rush. They had everything covered, were organized.
And a bad pass right there from Cornwall. And the Swarm get it right back. I tell you, when these teams work their offense, it's a thing of beauty.
Absolutely.
But for the rest of the possessions, it's been rather sloppy at times.
Yeah, and yeah, we're this far into the league. The things that people know now are a little bit different than at the beginning of the year. So both these defenses well prepared to try to take away what these offenses want to do.
Aaron Bold with a big save on Kyle Matisse, who was cutting with a beautiful hard bounce shot. And Bold up to the task. So Saskatchewan on offense, 10 left to shoot for them. And it's Church being checked up on one more time, throws it off the back of the boards. And it's picked up by O'Connor, who's sprinting towards the net. He's got a trailer. And then shot saved from Bold. O'Connor looked like he hesitated. Wasn't sure if he wanted to pass it.
Yeah, as a righty over on that side, that's not the side he wants to be on with the ball. So he really wanted an opportunity to give it up. Wasn't presented with it. In the end, he had to take the shot, and Bold was sitting right there waiting for it.
13 on the shot clock. Matthews trying to feed it inside, and does to Keenan. His give and go attempt never made it on Cage. And quickly the Swarm come out in transition. Under a minute left. We'll see how long the Swarm hold on to this ball here. There's about a 15-second differential from the game clock and the shot clock. And they're not going to pull the goalie, obviously, with that much time difference left.
Now, if the Rush get the ball back, they probably will pull the goaltender.
Paulus with a shot saved from Bolding. No rebound as he holds on to that one. And a timeout going to be called by Saskatchewan with 20.6 seconds left.
So when we come back out, Saskatchewan's going to pull their goaltender, play 6 against 5. 6 offensive players playing against the 5 defensive players plus their goaltender.
And how will Derek Keenan set this up? Who does he want to take this shot?
Well, the obvious one is Mark Matthews, right? And what's worked in the 2 power plays was down screening and sealing the defense to the inside and providing opportunities for Mark Matthews to take open shots. You can do a similar thing in this situation with the 6-on-5, but I would look for them to get the ball to Matthews up top, expect the defense to come out and play with him, and he's going to be looking to kick it down low for an easier shot on the inside.
Well, the Rush will have to start with the ball in their own zone.
Yes.
After the save by Bold, and I'm just curious whether he'll start on the bench or they'll let him rush into the offensive end, and Bold's still not walking on the bench yet.
No, they'll definitely start with the offensive players on the floor. Then the Swarm will go back, won't even contest the clearing of the ball because of the extra man.
And starting the possession will be Matthews as he walks back towards the official.
Yeah, they're not going to mess around with who they want the ball with to decide what happens here.
All right, so 20.6 seconds left and an empty net for Saskatchewan.
And remember, they don't want to shoot the ball until the clock's going to run out because they don't want to give the ball up when there's no one in their net at the other end of the floor. That would seem obvious, but I figured I'd state it anyway.
And here is Matthews at the top, tries to feed it to Church off the post.
That was a goal.
They're saying it went in.
And that's exactly what I was expecting him to do. Get the ball to Matthews up top and then skip it through down low, knowing they've used that for a goal twice. That time, they're able to hit it down low, and I think he actually hit the bar down low on the inside of the cage.
And it's Curtis Knight, actually.
Curtis Knight, and you can see, is that O'Connor there on the low pipe, just standing there? Nothing he can do. Yeah, and that was definitely in the goal, no question about it.
Well, all goals under 2 minutes are reviewable, so.
I'm sorry, Connor Sellers, I think, was playing the low defensive spot there.
And then Como throws the challenge flag. And I don't know if this is a wise challenge here. I mean,
unless he saw something we didn't see, someone off ball standing in the crease, perhaps. That one looked pretty obvious there, but exactly what I was expecting out of Edmonton, though. You get 2 goals out of, Saskatchewan. You get 2 goals out of that action right there. Skip it down low the next time. You see those defenders all stepping up field, and you can see Sellers locked on the crease, expecting the shot, and it's too late by the time he tries to recover back.
Yeah, I mean, that you could see it's clearly over the goal line, and it's a beautiful shot by Curtis Knight. His 2nd goal tonight, 3rd of the playoffs.
And the other key to that is you see how far up Mike Poulin is preparing for that shot from Mark Matthews. He's stepping out to cut off the angle, but leaving a lot of space behind himself when the skip pass is thrown.
Good call by the official who was standing right there to see it went in. It happened so fast, and the shot was so hard.
And his hands went up right away.
Naturally thought it hit the post. And so Saskatchewan takes a 9-7 lead with 2.2 seconds left. Coming up at halftime, Ludacris will be performing live here at the Infinite Energy Arena.
So both guys are just going to make sure that ball doesn't come out. Nothing crazy happens. Go to halftime.
And so after 30 minutes of play, the Saskatchewan Rush, the 2-time Champions Cup defending champs, have a 2-goal lead over the Georgia Swarm, who are playing in their first ever Champions Cup. We'll take a timeout and come back with stats and highlights of the first half. You're watching the NLL on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Time Grammy Award-winning artist and Atlanta's own Ludacris.
Atlanta, Georgia, put your hands up in the air. Let's go, baby. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Welcome to Atlanta, jacking hammers and bowls. Back to the macking and jacking the clothes. Adolescents packing the phone. A knock on the door. Who is it? I would happen to know the one with the flow. Who did it? Me, I suppose. JD in the rolls and Luda's in the cut supreme. Skate down, no neck, yeah, something lean. I split your spleen. Matter of fact, I split your team. No blood on the seats, gotta keep it sober. I get the cream. Cops see me flick my beans. I'm allergic to Dr. Prescribed antihistamine. Oink, pig, do away with the pork. Only silver I need is steak, knife and a fork. Did you forget your damn manners? I'm Bruce with banners. Ludacris, Johnny Rockets when I shoot the woolly mammoth saber-tooth girl bites your tongue. Won't stop until I'm rich as the wife so calm. I pull up in the black Lotus. Your plaques are bogus, so I strip them off the wall. Waiting for my cue to corner pocket 8-ball. You racking them up, I'm big paper like pancakes. Stacking them up. In fact, I'm slapping them up. Cadillac is a truck. Can't lose with 22. Yeah, that's what's up. Running in the back to what? Better than the aqueduct. Chilling in the world. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. Ride on the things like every day. Big beats hit streets, see gangsters roaming. Parties won't stop till 8 in the morning. Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. Ride on the things like every day. Big beats hit streets, see gangsters roaming. Parties don't stop till 8 in the morning. Hey, stand up. Say what, say what, what? Say what, say what, what? Say what, say what, what? Yeah, yeah. When I move, you move. I say just like that. When I move, you move. I say just like that. When I move, you move. I say just like that. Hell yeah, hey DJ, bring that back. When I move, you move. I say just like that. When I move, you move. Okay, just like that. When I move, you move. I say just like that. Hell yeah. Hey DJ, bring that back. How you ain't gon' cut? Girl, I'm me. I'm the gut. Breezy, you in VIP. CEO, you don't have the CID. I'm young, wild, and strong like Kiali. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Whoop out, less security. Watch out for the medallion. Feels like I'm visiting. Hey, I pulled up with a million trucks. Looking, smelling, feeling like a million bucks. Pass the bottles, the heat is on. We in a huddle all smoking it. What's wrong? The club and the moon is full. Looking for a thick young lady to pull. One short shot, way to get him out of the pain. No to the brand new dude. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I move, you move. Say just like that. When I move, you move. Say just like that. Oh yeah, hey DJ, bring that back. When I move, you move. Say just like that. When I move, you move. Say just like that. When I move, you move. Just like that. Come on, DJ, bring that. Let's go. Hey, everybody make some noise in here, baby. Georgia Swarm winning tonight. Let's go. Watch out, my outfit's ridiculous. In the club looking so cut. And rowdies, women all on the prowl. If you hold the head steady, I'ma milk the cow. And forget about game, I'ma speak the truth. I won't stop till I get up in there. Birthday suit, oh. So give me the rhythm and it'll be off when they close the bend over to the front. Yeah, touch the toes, yeah. Left the jack and I took the roll. If they ain't cut, then I put them on. Full patrol. Ah, how you like me now? Where my pinkies back it over? 300,000. Hey, let's drink, you the one to please. Ludacris, Phil Cole. Like Double D. Me and Earth once more. Hey. Leaves them dead, we want a lady in the street. Say yeah. Hey. Yeah. What you say? I say yeah. Say what? Yeah. Hey. Take that and wind it back. Ludacris got the stuff to make your booty go. Take that. JC got the stuff to make your booty go. All right, y'all with me or what? You still with me? Make some noise, baby. Can you go? How low 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 can you go? I need everybody to clap with me like this. Let's go. Clap, 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 clap. Clap. Clap, clap. Clap, clap. Clap, clap. Hey, let's go. Hey, she can go lower than I ever really thought she could. Face down. The top of your booty together, not your jean, baby. Pull your pants up. I like it when I see you do it better than I've ever seen it done before. A lot of women drop it to the ground. time. Never would have imagined it, not even in her right mind. Practice in front of that mirror. You doing it on the dance floor. Man, cause I can't get with your chick to show me how to go. I may not want to get low, so I'm posted up. But if you come to the crib, show you girls a thing or two. Yeah, I think you a superstar with a butt like that. Before you make it big, one thing that I gotta know. How low can you go? 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 Go, go, I can go. Hey, hey. Lower than you know. Go, 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 go lower than you know. Go, go, hey, go, go lower than you know. Go low, go, go, go lower than you know. Oh, we're not done with you just yet. Y'all ready? Let's go. We're gonna do this for Atlanta, Georgia. We're gonna do this for the Swarm. You ready? What's the name of this song, baby? Move. Hey. Get out the way. Hey. Get out the way. What? Get out the way. I said move. What? Get out the way. Hey. Get out the way. Hey. Get out the way. Sing move. What? Get out the way. What? Get out the way. What? Get out the way. I say move. Oh. Hey. Get out the way. Hey. Get out the way. Hey. Get out the way. Sing it with me. Oh no. The fight's up. I'm about to punch you. Lights out. Get the F back. Guard your crib. It's on road. We can't stay still. I've been drinking and fussing too. And I've been thinking of upside your forehead. And if your friends jump in, they'll be more dead. Causing confusion, disturbing the pieces. Not an illusion. Running the streets. So bye-bye to all the groupies and gold diggers. Is there a bumper on your road? Oh, no. I'm doing 100 on the highway. If you do the speed limit, get the out of my way. I'm DUI, hardly ever cross over. And you about to get let's go, move, Trey. Hey, get out the, hey, get out the, you better get out the, I say move. Hey, get out the, you better get out the way. You better get out the way. They gon' move, Trey. Get out the, you better get out the way. You better get out the way. Okay, move. Hey, say what? Get out the way. What? Get out the way. You better get out the way. We're not done with you. Hands back up in the air. We're going to do this one more time. Let's go. Yeah. All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind. I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. Put them up, put them up. And they stay there. Hey. They stay there. Hey. And they stay there. Up, down. Cause all I do is win. Put your hands in the air, make them say Ludacris coming in on the verse, cause I've never been a feeling that I won't stop now. Get your hands up, put them in the sky for the homie that ain't making them my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. They saying Luda's back. Maybe on that contour, we'll call it Luda, And I'm on this foolish track. I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down. Like, y'all. My verses still be served. Tight like a million birds. Last time I wanna call it remix. Can't never count me out. Y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts. Accounts count me in. Make millions every year. The South champion. All I do, all I do is win. No matter what. Got money on my mind. I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. Put them up. And they stay there. Hey. They stay there. Hey. They stay there. Up, down. Cause all I do is win. If you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Atlanta, Georgia Swarm, I love y'all, baby.
Let's give it up for Ludacris. Thanks, Luda, for joining us tonight.
Welcome back to halftime here at the Infinite Energy Arena, Harris Cherokee Casino Field. Game 1 of the Champions Cup between the Saskatchewan Rush and the Georgia Swarm. Brian Silcott joins me here at halftime. And look, it's a back and forth first half between these two teams. Saskatchewan, obviously the edge in goals, but they've been a little bit more physical and just a little bit sharper.
Yeah, I think they played the better half ultimately, and it's really been about the physicality on defense. They made it very difficult for Georgia to move the ball. They're out on players. They're getting on hands. They're forcing some sloppy plays, to be quite honest, out of the Georgia Swarm, something we're not used to seeing out of this team. What Georgia needs to do, I think, is spread out perhaps a little bit more, get those top guys a little bit higher so they can throw those passes from side to side. But they have to force that defense to back off them a little bit by moving the ball, force them to protect the center again, and open up opportunities.
Yeah, interesting stat as far as face-offs won. You know, you look at the main stats there, shots on goals, saves, very close. But the face-offs really, to me, is what stands out because the 58% of the face-offs that were won by Saskatchewan really have given them more scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and they've gotten some clean wins, as we were talking before. A couple of violations in there as well, but some clean wins forward, providing those extra opportunities. I think they've also done a good job of getting balls in their offensive end as well. We've talked about that a lot throughout the year, how getting second and third possessions in your offensive end, resetting the shot clock, provides excellent opportunities to score, but it also wears down the defense over the course of the game.
Give some credit to the Georgia Swarm. Trailed by as many as 3. They were down by 7-4, and a 3-goal run tied things up before the final 2 goals at the end of the first half gave Saskatchewan their 9-7 lead. So I expect more in the second half of the same. These two teams are too evenly matched for that much of a distance to be put between them.
Yeah, and what the Swarm did a little bit of, and you mentioned it, I think at least 2, maybe 3 times in the first half, was that we normally don't see inside cutters out of the Swarm catching the ball and finishing. And when the defense is extending and getting out on your shooters, getting out on your passes, you have to cut to the inside, get the ball in there and score. And the Swarm's done it a few times. They need to do more of it in the second half.
So teams back out on the field here as second half about to get underway. And, you know, Ed Como told us before the game today, and we mentioned it in the pregame show, that it was about playing Georgia Swarm lacrosse. Do you think they've done that for the first 30 minutes?
I do not. I think they've done it a bit defensively. Offensively, they have not. They've not gotten the ball moving. I think they've been trying to. I think the Saskatchewan Rush have taken it away from them in the first half.
So we'll see how the Swarm come out and respond here in front of their home crowd. I mean, we've mentioned it several times about the veteran experience of Saskatchewan and the fact that they've won back-to-back Champions Cups, going for their 3rd in a row. Do you get a sense at all that the moment is a little bit more than the Swarm can handle at this point?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that would be something to look at, but I don't think that that's the case. These players at different levels, at different places, have all played in championships. They know what they have going on here. I think they're all prepared to play the game.
Well, McIntosh wins that first faceoff for the Swarm. And in reality, you really need to get the Thompson brothers going. And those brothers, I mean the ones for Georgia, if they want to get back in this thing. I mean, Lyle Thompson does have that 1 goal off a shot of his own rebound, but Miles Thompson has been held without a point so far, and that's just too much. Lacrosse has gone by for the Swarm without those guys getting more involved.
Yes, and again, I'm going to say, you know, it's on the scouting report. You got to slow those guys down, and the Rush are doing a good job of it.
So Shane Jackson loses his helmet there in that transaction, and the Swarm lose the possession.
Ross Evans had a little conversation with his defender on the way off the floor as well.
Sure, they're exchanging pleasantries, obviously. And here is Ben McIntosh over to Robert Church. Church gets it back. Shot, score! Church with his 2nd of the night.
Church feet set. Looked like Noble really believed that Church was about to dodge. So Noble just kind of squared up and set his feet, and ultimately ended up being a screen for Church as he shoots the ball around him. You see him setting up to play defense, looking to send him down the side. Church just reaches around him, buries the shot.
Church's 6th goal of the postseason. And, you know, the air starting to come out of the Infinite Energy Arena here to start the second half after a wonderful performance by Ludacris at halftime.
Yeah, Ludacris got him going. Now the Swarm got to keep it going if they want to keep their energy rising.
McIntosh wins another faceoff. Good start for him here in the second half. We talked a lot about the cutters that we saw. Just waiting to see that vintage passing from the Swarm that leads them to a lot of goals that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, you can see even right there, the defender almost getting a stick on it. They're reaching out, making those passes around the perimeter difficult. That one trying to get to the inside, a stick up in the lane, knocking it down.
And Matthews. Oh, what a save by Poulin. That was a touch pass right across to Brett Misdyke, who could not convert because Poulin stonewalled him.
And we talked about how difficult it is to get from pipe to pipe on that quick stick on the backside. Poulin gets the job done there.
And an errant pass goes into the stands for the Swarm, and they turn it over.
And yeah, that's an errant pass. He threw it away, but I'm still going to say that's being caused by the defense. He's trying to get it over the top and through those lanes. It's just not there.
For 2-minute minor, check from behind.
So the Swarm will head to the power play. Saskatchewan trying to see who they called it on. Looks like it's Jeremy Thompson, if I see that ponytail correctly. Nonetheless, the Swarm head to the power play here, finding themselves down by 3 once more. And here is Lyle Thompson's shot deflected behind the cage, being fought for on the turf as Shane Jackson loses his footing and his stick, it looks like. Scrum underneath, 7 left on the shot clock for the Swarm, as they're still fighting for the ball. Finally, it looks like it squirts loose.
Yeah,
still not picked up in a shot clock violation.
He saw it squirt loose. It looked like, I think it was Rubens just pulled it back into the pile because he didn't want anyone picking the ball up. Just let the shot clock run down.
And the Swarm trying to check their way back into a possession. Credit to Saskatchewan for hanging on.
Lyle doing a good job of putting pressure on there, with the rush staying composed and maintaining possession.
And Matthews on the far side. His shot picked off right by Joel White out of midair. Sorry, that was Adam Jones whose shot was picked off. Nonetheless, an incredible interception.
Yeah, Matthews fired it down to Jones there. Pocket, and Jones tried to get the shot on cage, but a simple flick of the stick. Joel White takes it away.
15 left to shoot for the Swarm. Here's Powless. Sends it in the corner to Miles Thompson. Shot deflected, not deflected. Never made it on cage, never reset the shot clock, but they're going to award the possession to the Swarm with 6 seconds left.
I think they missed the call.
Oh, they gave him a free 30. They gave him a fresh 30.
Yeah,
so.
I think they called it back into the crease on the rush.
And so the power play continues. And Lyle Thompson with a shot that never made it to Aaron Bold, and a long clear being fought for as Lyle Thompson has to run back and get it.
That's what I was talking about earlier with Lyle Thompson. Brilliant play, gets the check on the stick, and then scoops that ground ball up.
8 seconds left in the power play. And Shane Jackson, or Johnny Powers rather, can't hang on to that pass. Jeremy Thompson comes out of the box. Swarm still have the ball in a fresh 30. So teams are at even strength. And here is Stotts with a laser, gets his own rebound after the save by Bold. Back across to Jackson, sends it up in the middle to Powers, a bounce shot, or Stotts rather, and another save by Bold.
Bounce like a brick wall coming out in the second half here.
Jeremy Thompson with the ball checked up on by 2 different Swarm players, gives it over to Ben McIntosh. Coming up on 10.5 left in the third quarter. And Church sends it to a cutter, and a huge save by Poulin. I think it was Ben McIntosh, a beautiful pass, and Poulin comes up with a big save.
Yeah, great pass, great catch, great cut. Just couldn't get in the net. Mike Poulin in the way.
See if the Swarm can turn that into something beneficial for them on the offensive end. 10 left to shoot. Jackson comes around a defender for a low shot save by Bold and gets his own rebound. And a quick clear out to LaFontaine. Back to LaFontaine. Shot. Big save for Poulin. Denying LaFontaine with the left shoulder save.
Wow, Poulin standing on his head there, coming up with that left flipper, knocking it away.
So the pace very fast here to start the third quarter. Flip behind the head and can't connect with Jordan McIntosh. And the Swarm will turn it over. And as Messinger gets hit, he goes down, and the penalty is going to be called on Jordan McIntosh. And I'm not sure I mean, can't hit to the head in this league, but how much of Messinger is selling this, don't know. He went down to the turf quickly.
Yeah, I think McIntosh kind of feels he was going to fight for the ball and just kind of incidental contact, but you know, he made contact to the back and possibly to the head.
Well, let's see if this is more than a 2-minute minor here.
I think that's what they came together to discuss right there.
George, 24, illegal cross check.
Just two.
It broke up. It sounded like just like a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, I think I saw him give the signal to Noble beforehand. There was going to be a 2.
Messenger gets up and walks off the field on his own power. And let's see here. High enough. I mean, players in this league
and in
know.
the back, too. It was a combination of high and in the back.
We'll take a timeout, come back. Saskatchewan will be on the power play with a 3-goal lead. You're watching the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.
Pass! Pitch coming! Stop there, Earl.
Very tough spot here for the Georgia Swarm, trailing by 3, heading to the penalty kill. And this 3-goal lead, the largest for Saskatchewan of the evening, and the Georgia penalty kill going to have to come up big, Brian.
Yeah, this is an important one right now for Georgia. They want to maintain control of this situation.
And they really do, as Poulin comes up with a save, and now the Swarm can kill off 30 seconds here.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was the plan, to allow him to walk in like that and shoot on Poulin, but Poulin was there to stop it.
And the Swarm have to be careful about being aggressive here, because an odd man rush could clearly work against them if they get a shot and a long rebound.
Absolutely.
And they'll leave Poulin out to dry.
Killing time is job 1, and then making sure they have to transition the ball back is job 2.
Well, they're getting some rebounds here to start after a couple of shots that Bold had to deflect wide.
Yeah, getting an extra possession here is absolutely huge, and they will try to score. If they get an opportunity late in the shot clock, they will go to the goal.
Stott circling, getting away from 2 defenders. Now getting double teamed, and it looks like he lost the ball. It's behind the cage, and Bold has to go pick it up. And Saskatchewan will come out now with under a minute left in the penalty. Here's McIntosh over to Church. And Matthews at the top, running point. And the pass to McIntosh goes off the boards, gets it back. Matthews gives it to Church, shot saved. Rebound picked up by Saskatchewan.
Poulin looked very confident on that save.
Under 30 seconds left. Not so confident there as he gets beat by Adam Jones.
Yeah, Adam Jones slip into the inside. Very dangerous position. Let someone get in the power play. No one responded. He's wide open on the inside. Had time to catch. Give a little bit of a fake before he dumps it in the net.
As you can see, Matthews here just flips it in the middle.
And again, having a Mark Matthews up at the point makes those 2 top defenders really concerned. You see how high up they're playing. No one's able to recover back down to the inside to prevent that shot.
So a 4-goal deficit for the Swarm. And another face-off win by Jeremy Thompson. Quickly sprints into the offensive zone. Gets double-checked by Krepensek and McIntosh, and then flips it off and heads for the bench. And on the far side, Matthews will give it up. Now Knight on the opposite side, coming around a screen towards the top of the offensive zone. Gets it back, lets one go. Poulin with a save. Rebound goes to his left. Being fought for by both teams right now. Another. I can't remember a game with this many scrums.
Yeah, they're fighting for the ball. I mean, I think this is championship play. These guys are going to fight for the ball every time. Everything's contested. And in this instance, that was a 3-on-1 at one point, and the Rush able to come up with the lacrosse ball.
So 18 left to shoot for the Rush. Feed it in the middle. Huge save by Poulin right there off the Dinsdale shot.
Curtis Knight losing his helmet in that final little melee down there.
And a shot from the Swarm goes up into the. And they are going to give the possession to Saskatchewan as it hit nothing or nobody for that matter.
It really feels like the Georgia Swarm are not playing Swarm lacrosse. And again, I'm going to give the Saskatchewan Rush credit for forcing them out of their game here. And they're not getting the ball movement. They're not getting the cross cage feeds. And it's sloppy play and turnovers.
And the Rush have been stepping in passing lanes all evening long.
Absolutely, stepping in them, sticks in them. Hands, sticks in hands.
Jordan Hall scores! What a move! Hall with his third of the night.
And this seems to be Jordan Hall's specialty. When the Georgia Swarm are down and they need a goal and things aren't going right, Jordan Hall figures out a way to make it happen. This is an old man going to the cage here. Jordan Hall's been playing this league a long time, but he takes the one-on-one matchup, gets underneath, launches himself, and scores a beautiful goal to keep his alive in the action.
And so no challenge from the Saskatchewan Rush. And that goal snaps a run of 4 straight from Saskatchewan as the Swarm bring it back to a 3-goal game. But Jeremy Thompson wins the faceoff, and under 6 minutes left in the third quarter, every possession is going to start to feel more pivotal.
It hasn't felt like we've had runs in the faceoffs as well. Jordan McIntosh wins 2-3 in a row, and then Thompson wins 2-3 in a row.
McIntosh with a low shot that's wide, gets his own rebound off the boards, pump fakes, and then spins towards the cage. Gets it knocked out of his stick, and Poulin picks it up. And here comes Lyle Thompson. Now it is Powlis here on the near side, looking in the middle. Back to Matisse. Over to Lyle, rather. Miles spins with it, tries to throw it to a teammate, and does not. Goes to nobody, and it's picked up by Saskatchewan. As Mike Messinger quickly sprints into the offensive zone. Has to spin away from defenders, tries to throw something on cage, never made it there, and the Swarm get it back.
The other thing that the Saskatchewan Rush are doing a great job of is stopping man in the pick and roll. They're not allowing that guy to get open either on the pop or getting out with the pressure, and when they roll to the net, they've generally been able to lock them, and they're physically preventing them from getting to the net.
Stotts in the corner, flips it back to Matisse, shot, score! Starting to bring some life back in the building, Brian.
And right as I say that, they get the pop guy. They're able to flip it back to him. That's the one they have had a little bit more. They haven't been hitting that shot of late, though. Wide open, though. Matisse buries it.
Matisse with his second of the night and third of the playoffs. And Bolt didn't stand much of a chance, barely moved as he beat him short side.
You know, we think of two-man game, we generally think strict pick and roll, but that really is a two-man game as well, where he's drawing that defender down low to help and then popping the ball back up high for the shot.
And the Swarm get that face off. It seems both Thompson and McIntosh are trying to just roll the ball out of the face-off to a teammate.
Yeah, they're trying. The rules dictate that they have to get the ball out of there quickly, so they can't really mess around with it the way you would see sometimes in a field game.
McIntosh with a pump fake and a nice save by Bold. And a quick outlet pass can't be converted. And Shane Jackson gets it back. And another turnover for Saskatchewan, who in the last 4 offensive possessions, very sloppy.
Yeah, Adam Jones, you'll never see him drop the ball like that again. I mean, that was just a weird play. Doesn't happen often. He has great stick skills.
Here's Miles Thompson. Can't connect with his brother. Lyle has to hustle to get it off the boards. 8 left to shoot. There's 5. You get a feeling that he may do this himself. That shot deflected all the way up into the stands. And so they're going to award the possession to the Swarm, but we are going to get a timeout. So it was a run of 4 goals by Saskatchewan. Jordan Hall, Kyle Matisse with 2 to get the Swarm back into it. You're watching the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
If there was a skip this ad button, you'd probably click it. If String King took an already great head and made it even better, you'd probably buy it. I need a coffee.
Welcome back to the Infinite Energy Arena, Harris Cherokee Casino Field. It's an 11-9 lead for the Saskatchewan Rush after the last 2 goals from the Swarm, trying to claw their way back in. There's a little momentum starting to build on their side, Brian.
Yeah, I think that, when things aren't going the way you usually want them to, you got to find other ways to score. And the usual Swarm offense has not been working. The Saskatchewan Rush are taking it away from them, so they got to find other things to do. Jordan Hall has worked off-ball cuts for goals. He got a one-on-one goal underneath. And starting to use that drive low and kick it back out, I think, will help as well. It's a very organized defense. They're great at helping each other. They got to take advantage of that and move the ball to the open shooter.
Still safe for the Swarm. They've got to get Miles and Lyle Thompson involved. Jeremy Thompson has outscored both of them tonight.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to be discussed back at home later on.
Here is Jordan Hall, flips it back to Shane Jackson. Cross to Randy Stotts with a laser. That never made it on cage. Ball's being fought for in the corner by Miles Thompson. He's double teamed. Hall makes a diving attempt to get it and cannot. A bad pass as Miles checks up on his brother Jeremy.
They only have seconds to get across the midfield line. That's a time violation.
Yep, and another turnover for Saskatchewan. Swarm get it right back. And Miles Thompson picks up the loose ball in the corner. And now he's trying to figure out what to do. Help, can't connect with Lyle. It's just unreal to see those 2 missed passes the way they have tonight.
Yeah, and that's the look that...
pulling Stonewall's the point-blank shot.
That's the look that I was talking about, though, that drive down low and popping it back out, because that same side guy is helping down.
And I don't think we've seen enough from the Georgia Swarm guys. The shot that goes over the cage, and the ball is being fought for on the turf. But I don't think we've seen enough from either Lyle or Miles of just sometimes taking the ball on their own and making it happen. They did that so much during the regular season.
And that's what Miles was doing right there, right? And he forced the help. The help came off of Lyle. They weren't able to connect. We have not seen a whole lot of dodging out of Lyle Thompson yet.
So under 2 minutes left in the third. And Church has to send it back up top. 5 left to shoot for Saskatchewan. Matthews with a shot that is wide of the net and picked up by the Swarm. And here comes Seller. Had a chance to go all alone, but decided to wait for his teammates.
He gave it a thought for a second, but quickly 2 Rush players came off the bench to the turn.
Hall feeding Shane Jackson. Shot, score! Nice little 2-man game right there, Brian.
Yeah, beautiful 2-man game there. Jordan Hall as the ball handler. Shane Jackson sets the pick, rolls back to the inside. Well executed, and basically a mistake defensively there by the Saskatchewan Rush.
Adrian Soroketti kind of just left alone.
Yeah, he tried to stay with the ball carry. He should have jumped on Shane Jackson. I talked about earlier, they were doing a good job of locking off the roll man. They missed him completely there.
Another 3-goal run for the Swarm. And they find themselves trailing by 1, and another face-off win. Said that at half, how important that was going to be for Georgia.
Absolutely, absolutely. It becomes compressed, right? When you get later in the game, those face-offs seem to take more and more importance as there's less and less possessions left in the game.
Stotts with a shot that's deflected wide by Bold. And Powers with a check knocks that ball loose. Saskatchewan manages to come back up with it. And Matt Hossack over to Adam Jones. He just made Joel White rather just fall to his knees. Pull him with a save.
Gave him the whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo. That one's not going to look good for Joel White on film.
that doesn't happen to Joel White very often. We're talking about one of the best athletes in this league.
So under 30 seconds left, 16 to shoot for Georgia. And what a lift it would be for them if they could tie this up here before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, because it didn't really feel like a dominant third quarter for the Swarm.
And they do! Nothing fancy about that rocket from the stick of Shane Jackson.
Shane Jackson says, you're going to leave my hands free. This close to the gauge, I gotta pick a corner from here, and he sticks it in the top left. That may have nicked Barr on the way in. That was right up there in the left corner. He's waiting, up, wide open. I'm just gonna put it in the cage, man.
I mean, that thing went in something the size of his shoebox.
Bang, just right in that top corner. Brilliant shot out of Shane
Aaron
Jackson.
Bolt didn't move till it was already behind him. I mean, that was a no-doubter by Shane Jackson.
And those are the shots that the Rush have not been giving up all game, right? They have not allowed them to get those clean, with a clean follow-through and everything. Just hasn't happened very often.
And Thompson wins the face-off with 4 seconds left. They pull the goalie. And here comes Robert Church with a shot that is wide. Long rebound goes over the midfield line as the horn sounds, ending a phenomenal run by the Georgia Swarm to tie things up. They trailed by as many as 4 coming out of halftime, where Ludacris performed. And then goal after goal after goal bring the Swarm right back into this. Final 15 minutes. Coming up next, you're watching the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
This past NLL season was incredible. It was exciting. It was jam-packed with amazing goals.
Here's Miles Thompson, flips it back and scores!
Incredible saves.
Carlson with absolute robbery
and huge games.
And he ends it. Vancouver is going home for the playoffs.
And if you don't have your subscription to NLLTV.com, you're going to miss out on all of that action during the 2018 season. And can you imagine, friends is sitting there talking about the greatest plays from the night before, and you're the only one to not have your subscription? You're going to be missing out.
Don't be that person. Make sure to head on over to the NLL website to get your subscription today to make sure, well, you're part of that conversation, and also to make sure that you don't miss a minute of 2018.
I've got hers. Get yours today.
Digby on the take, score.
Over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter here at the Hive, the Infinite Energy Arena, Harris Cherokee Casino Field. Game 1 of the Champions Cup between the Rush and the Swarm. The Swarm tied things up at 7 near the end of the second quarter. And then trailed by as many as 4, 11-7, and have hustled all the way back into this thing. And would you expect anything less from the top two teams? Final 15 minutes of game 1, and we're tied at 11.
Absolutely. 11-11 going into the fourth. 11 goals shows that both teams can score. Teams can play defense. This is going to be a great fourth quarter.
And just what a showcase for the NLL. Just a beautiful first game between these two teams. An exciting arena, exciting atmosphere. Ludacris performed at halftime. I mean, this is exactly what sports fans love.
And this is why you love having a series, right? Clearly these are closely matched. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose.
Oh, Jordan Hall just flips it, and he beats Aaron Bold.
Huge goal, huge goal. It's an error, it's a mistake, but those are going to happen now and again. Flipped inside, that actually went
deflected off stick.
Kyle Rubish's stick.
Rubish.
That's what I mean. Kyle Rubish is great at getting his stick on balls. He's always reaching in lanes and everything. It's such an unfortunate play that he does the right thing and causes an own goal.
And you see him throw his hands right on top of his head. I mean, a mistake like that could cost him the game.
Absolutely. That's a 3-time Defender of the Year. That's exactly what he does well. You want to get your stick on balls, and he does it, and it ends up in the net. Very unfortunate for the Saskatchewan Rush.
Jordan Hall will get credit for his 4th goal of the game, and it's a 5-goal run for the Swarm. And Stotts hit the crossbar.
Wow, and that goal jumped. That goal's still wobbling. Full rotation, overhand, just banged it off the crossbar.
And here is Stotts one more time. And Hall tried to connect in the middle. Oh my God, Aaron Bold almost had another one go past him.
But that's the situation right there where the Swarm gets their energy going and just buries you. But the Rush are there to knock down those cross cage passes. Big play from the defense.
Aaron Bold almost knocked it into his own net. I guess the ball had a little bit of English on it and took a weird bounce. Well, you begin to wonder how much, as a big shot from Adam Jones and a nice stop from Poulin. You begin to wonder how much home field advantage will play into this. I mean, you know, the Swarm have always had good crowds, and it's been an exciting season here. But you can feel the energy in the room right now.
Absolutely. It's got to help the Swarm. You know, in the end, when you're on the floor, though, you try to absorb what energy is in the arena and bring it into your game, whether they're cheering for you or against you.
Look at Storos just holding Curtis Knight against the boards. And the Swarm get it. And Connor Sellers picks it up but slows it down. Swarm tried to get out in transition very quickly.
Yeah, a great job, though, of transition, given that they were at the offensive end. The Rush did a great job of getting back on defense.
Lyle Thompson feed Miles, and what a save by Aaron Bold.
We saw the one-handed catch out of Mark Matthews earlier. That time, it's by Miles Thompson catching it with the one-handed catch and getting the shot off.
Jackson in the corner, feeds Matisse. Right back, pump fakes. Now spins away from trouble, gets some space, sends it over Matisse. He lets one go deflected, and Bold picks it up. A long outlet pass to Matt Hossack is over his head. Matisse chasing it down as well. As they check up against the boards, Matisse gets it, and the Swarm get the ball back.
Great effort by Matisse, track down.
It's a long way to run for that big man.
Yeah, he's not known as a flat-out foot speed guy, but he worked hard.
He'll take a run to the bench right now
and use every bit of that arm length to get to that ball.
So Lyles Thompson along with Stotts, Jackson, and Hall. Lyle Thompson runs through a defense. He hit the crossbar.
Wow. Wow. Great action going on here.
That's the second crossbar that the Swarm have hit. Look at that.
See how
right over his shoulder. Now he scores! Randy Stotts with a low, hard one, and Aaron Bold looks shaken. Little spin on that one, Brian.
This is where the Swarm has done it all year. They score in bunches, and they score in bunches when they need to generally, and they needed it right now. They're back in this game, and that's another one of those shots, reaching around, using that arm length to get a better angle and bouncing it to the far side by Randy Stotts.
And the run of 6 goals continues for the Swarm. But this offense now looks like what Ed Como labeled as just Georgia Swarm lacrosse.
Exactly. When they start playing with confidence, starts to drop in the net, it seems.
Well, the passes are crisp. The movement is fluid. Matisse back out on the field. Pump fakes, goes inside, flips it back to Stotts. Shot. He hit another one.
And that's that same drive and flip back again.
Here comes Cornwall on the other end. Big save by Poulin. Cornwall had a one-on-one, and Poulin comes up with the stop.
Cornwall's had a great year as a transition player. He's excellent at the defensive end, but also a very good goal scorer distributor at the other end.
Stotts flipped it in the middle. Miles Thompson buries it. The Swarm train left the station 7 goals ago and hasn't stopped.
I don't think there could be a more fitting nickname for the groove of a team than swarming, because that's what this group does. They get going, and they seem unstoppable at times.
Look at that pass and a beautiful shot by Miles.
Back to the far side.
And you know he wanted that one. His first of the night took him almost over 3+ quarters to get it.
Yeah, and he hasn't played poorly. He's had some excellent plays, a couple of assists here and there. He's been moving the ball. Gets his, though, there.
And it looks like Derek Keenan's going to make a goaltending switch. Tyler Carlson is going to Bold is going to head to the bench.
Well, Tyler Carlson has not played a whole lot of minutes in the last couple of years. This year included in that, but even the 2 years before
this
that,
is a gutsy
he has
move
not
right
played
here.
a lot of minutes.
I mean, this is the champion. This is pulling your goalie in the Stanley Cup final.
In game one of a three-game series. In reality, I mean, while he hasn't been pulled a lot this year, Aaron Bolt throughout his career has dealt with this before, and most indoor goalies are pretty comfortable with this situation of being taken out of a goal when things don't seem to be going well.
Swarm with 7 consecutive goals, and Poulin with the save on the Jeremy Thompson shot. Thompson gets his own rebound. Nobody from Saskatchewan is coming out to help him.
And yeah,
I mean, slow line change there.
7 goals in a row go in on your team. You got to start thinking. It looked like it may have been an equipment or something, because they're going right back.
Well, yeah, and Carlson, exactly. They made a goaltending switch. Okay, so it wasn't a performance-based thing. It was just equipment as Aaron Bolt back between the pipes. And his shot doesn't make it on cage. 4 seconds left. Swarm get it. And this 3-goal lead, the largest they have of the night.
And this is when it's tough on the Saskatchewan Rush. They've played a lot of defense over the last 10, 15 minutes. They need to buckle down and turn this tide the other way.
Lyle Thompson toward the cage. Shot saved by Bold. Thompson went airborne for that one.
This is a tough feeling as a defense. You'd love for your offense to step up, but you know you have to stop it first.
Jackson up top to Matisse, gets it back, lets it fly. That shot is wide. The rebound, McIntosh goes for the body check instead of the ball, and it's going to be a penalty now on McIntosh. And McIntosh throws his head up in the air in disgust. And that was not a smart play, but he didn't have to. He could have played the ball.
No, he could have. It looked like he could have caught the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he didn't see it or why he went for the man there. He had a clean opportunity. Looked at the ball, it looked like.
And more importantly now with the goalie being pulled, I mean, either way, and they score. Adam Jones buries it. And what a momentum-killing play by Jordan McIntosh.
And now the question is going to be, what do they call here? Because there was contact to the head, so do they call the 5 or the 2?
Take a look. McIntosh just goes up. It didn't even look like he wanted to try to catch that ball.
I think McIntosh was looking at the ball and kind of put his hands out in front. Wasn't really that aggressive of a check, but it was clearly to the head, which means they could call a 5 should they choose.
And that would be back-breaking for the Swarm to lose Jordan McIntosh for 5 minutes. Yep, he is holding up a 5-minute, or 5 single fingers rather.
Georgia penalty, 5 minutes, high stick.
So
now the Swarm are in a very tough spot. They lost their face-off man for the next 5 minutes.
They lost their face-off man. They're going to be shorthanded for about half of the remaining game, and on a 5-minute, Saskatchewan has the opportunity to score twice.
So when it's all said and done, and regardless if they score twice, McIntosh still serves the full 5 minutes.
Yes, he's out of the game for 5 minutes, absolutely.
I mean, that was just a boneheaded play by Jordan McIntosh.
Yeah, it almost, I don't want to make excuses for it. It looked like he wasn't really paying attention to what his hands were doing. Look up at the goal and kind of putting his hands out as a defense and put him right into the opposing player's head.
And look at Ethan O'Connor grab that loose ball.
That's just a great effort by Ethan O'Connor. Normally their second faceoff guy. I'm sure they know something in the matchup that they put Ethan O'Connor out there.
Well, and Sellers has also taken some faceoffs for the Swarm this year. But with 6 left to shoot, I'm sure the Swarm will just let this shot clock expire. And Stotts will throw it in the corner, and a long rebound goes out. It technically was a violation. Now you're just putting intense pressure on Mike Poulin over the course of the next 4.5 minutes.
And the Swarm here in that tough spot, you got to guard Mark Matthews, but you also have to be aware of those skip passes.
And Matthews with his 3rd of the night and closes the gap to 1.
I think Mark Matthews taken 3 shots on the power play, and all 3 of them have gone in the net.
All from the same spot, I think.
Yep, top center. That's his spot. And the tough thing is when you extend on him at all, he's throwing that skip pass.
And Poulin's up. It just had a clear shooting lane there, Brian.
And when you on that replay, the other thing you could see is how low those bottom players are defending to try to prevent the skip pass.
So that's one goal.
Oh, sorry, this rush power play is tough to handle.
So that's 1 goal that they've scored. Now,
oh, they scored 1.
Yes, they scored. Okay,
scored
they're
1.
calling no goal. The goal in the delayed power play was the first goal.
Yes.
Matthews' goal was the second.
Yep, that was my
so
mistake.
those are the 2 goals right there that they have scored. Jordan McIntosh will still serve the rest of the 5 minutes, but it'll be teams are at even strength right now. And right here, what happened was Mark Matthews pushed the ball into the goal, but they called no goal.
In the crease. Yep.
So the Swarm hanging on the goal lead. 8:31 left. You're watching the Champions Cup of the National Lacrosse League on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com.
That's impossible.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
The Jordan McIntosh 5-minute major for a high stick has brought the Saskatchewan Rush back within 1 goal. Now, they scored the 2 goals, 1 on the delayed penalty call. Mark Matthews scored the other one on the man advantage. McIntosh will still serve the remaining 3.5 minutes in the penalty box to serve out his 5-minute major.
Which is a tough loss for the Georgia Swarm, one because of the draws. So after those goals, they're sending out a secondary faceoff guy, but he's also big for them in transition. He's all over the floor for the Georgia Swarm.
The faceoff thing to me is the biggest thing because that's really what spurred the Swarm 7 goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's doing a fantastic job getting the ball back to them each time.
So we'll see how the Swarm respond offensively as the Rush get a little momentum. Here's Lyle Thompson. Sends it back to Hall. Pump fakes a little float pass to Matisse. Doesn't connect. And they are going to, after award the ball to Georgia.
Which can reset the shot clock as well.
And it does. Big break for the Swarm there. Stotts in the corner. Tries to feed in the middle to Hall. Doesn't get there, but Powles gets it. His shot attempt as his stick gets deflected. Never makes it on cage. Oh, what a ground ball. What a Lyle Thompson right there. Even though he lost it, that was an incredible effort.
And that's incredible that he picked that ball up in that traffic. That was an unbelievable
And the
play.
Swarm got it back. Bounce shot there from Shane Jackson goes into the netting, and the Swarm will turn it over. That was just a total play by Lyle Thompson.
And he got it checked away, but ultimately his hustle and his hard work got them the ball back.
And the Swarm on defense. Here comes Mark Matthews one more time with his shot, a save from Poulin, and a rebound quickly comes to the The offensive zone. Joel White hangs onto the ball, looking for a cutter, gets it. Miles Thompson who scores! Very delayed and kind of developing, but still effective for Miles Thompson.
Yeah, and Miles Thompson coming on the floor in transition. He's on the wrong side, but he gets close enough up towards the center, has a good look, and shoots around the crowd. Wow. What a shot by Miles Thompson.
He might have had a 4-inch window to get that
ball. And he
in.
shot around his own man, extended that stick out around his own man and put that in the corner. Unbelievable shot by Miles Thompson.
The Swarm needed to get him going, and they have.
He's going. Aaron Bold had no shot
and
on
a tough, gritty face-off win by Connor Sellers for the Swarm.
So Sellers stepping up. Jordan McIntosh in the penalty box. Sellers is 1, 2 of 4, I think, for them.
Matisse working down low. Trying to cut away from a defender. Flips it back to Stotts. Cross to Powell. Shot saved from Bolt. Rebound back to Matisse. Score!
The extra pass, and it's all over. He's sitting on the backside, just waiting for it all the time in the world to fake and finish there. No one's recovering on defense to that one.
Look at Shane Jackson right there, left all alone to get the rebound. Could have shot it, sent it over to Matisse. Had to get Bold moving in the opposite direction. A pump beats him right around him.
You don't get that kind of time very often in this league. But after the rebound and then the skip pass back across, the defense was finished.
Matisse with the hat trick tonight. Now has 4 goals in the postseason. The Swarm may have saved their best quarter for last. As we get Adam Jones with some fancy footwork. Shot saved from Poulin. And Adam Jones with a great job to get his own rebound.
Good work by Adam Jones there. He was being molested as he was able to control that ball.
And Sellers kind of shoved him around like a rag doll. Mark Matthews comes over for some help. Matthews gets it, 15 left to shoot, tries to feed it in the middle, pull him with a sliding stop. And an outlet pass to Ranigan. Ranigan's gonna sprint towards the cage, he's gonna go for it. No, he pulls up.
He thought it, but wise decision by Ranigan there. Big, strong American defender, pulls it out.
Lyle Thompson spins, flips it across. Shane Jackson pump fakes, feeds it back to Hall. And now Matisse gets it with 6 left to shoot. Thompson fighting off a body check, moving towards the cage, shot saved, gets his own rebound, then loses it. And the Swarm somehow get it back. The Thompson brothers just hustling right there to get the extra possession.
All over the floor. And you see some of those skip passes starting to get through for the Georgia Swarm now. The defense a little bit tired. Sticks start going down at your hips, and you stop picking off those passes that you were earlier in the game.
Cutter to Lyle Thompson rather, and a foot save by Bold. Golden scoring opportunity. Bold comes up big. And here is McIntosh. Flips it over to Matthews. Tries to find a cutting Church. Pass is deflected and picked up by the Swarm. And Noble finally gets a hold of it. You can see Jordan McIntosh standing up against the glass in the penalty box.
He's eager to get back and engage. I know once his penalty runs out, he can't just go out on the floor. He's got to wait for a dead ball.
His penalty has expired. So he's, as you said, has to wait for a stoppage in play to get out of the box. Here's Stotts. A give and go to Jackson wide. 4 left to shoot. Stotts goes to cage, throws it. And it's fought for by Matisse. He gets the rebound. And then throws it up top, and the Swarm get a fresh possession.
Great effort by Matisse. It seems like in these last 10 minutes, that's been happening a lot.
As
extra
crazy
hustle
as
in the
it
offensive
sounds,
end.
the McIntosh penalty, more of it has been spent in the Georgia offensive zone than anywhere else. Here's Lyle Thompson with a shot deflected wide, goes up into the cage. Swarm will hang on and get a fresh 30, and we get a stoppage in play. McIntosh.
And you can see the Saskatchewan defenders, a couple of them bent over, hands on the knees. They are exhausted.
The Swarm survived the penalty and thrive. They had themselves a lead. It's the Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com. .49 left here as game one of the Champions Cup between the Rush and the Swarm winds down. The Swarm have a 3-goal lead, 16-13. In the first matchup between these two teams, way back on January 7th, first game of the year, the Swarm scored 18 goals. Saskatchewan played the rest of the entire season and the postseason without giving up 18 goals. The 16 goals they've given up tonight, the second most they've given up all year long.
Well, yeah, Coach Keenan said he was sure his defense was better, and I'm sure they are as well. But this Georgia offense is better as well. They're so potent and can score so easily, led by the Thompson brothers quite often.
Think of it, it was 11-7 Saskatchewan. They are on a 9-2 run.
Unbelievable. And great for the Thompson brothers. Told their college coach, Scott Marr, is here.
Make that a 10-2 run. Number 5 for Jordan Hall, and that may just seal it.
Jordan Hall, what do you call him?
The Swiss
Army knife is your name for him. And he does. He scores in all different ways. He's all over the floor, and he's a great guy in the locker room. I was saying earlier, Scott Marr took the fight down from Albany to see his former Chargers competing out here. I'm sure he's a proud man in the stands right now for what's going on with the Georgia Swarm.
McIntosh back in the faceoff circle against Thompson. And Thompson wins that one fairly cleanly. And he sends a shot that's high. The long rebound goes out to Curtis Knight. And he'll wait for the Saskatchewan offense to set up.
And this is a tough time to rush. This is when you got to start pressing a little bit.
And a shot from Church, saved by Poulin. On that shot, Poulin had to go low to stop it.
Smothered and did not give up the rebound as well, which is always critical.
Here's Joel White.
Smart play there by Jackson. Don't need to make anything happen here. Burn some shot clock. Get the offensive guys on the floor.
Under 3 minutes. Stotts has to get that pass, and the Swarm working around back to Jackson in the corner. 6 left to shoot. And Jackson gets pushed into the crease, loses the ball. It'll be a turnover for the Swarm. And the Saskatchewan Rush are going to pull the goaltender.
Pulling the goalie already.
Down by 4 with 2.5 left.
3 lefties, 3 righties.
And the pass goes off the boards. Curtis Knight gets it back, 13 left to shoot. Sends it over in the corner to Keenan. He has to get it off the boards. 9 left on the shot clock. Tries to throw it to the cage. Does. Shot. Save. Poulin. Wow.
We've seen that all year out of Poulin. He comes up big when they need to.
Oh, and Brian Cole misses a wide open net.
Big mistake there by Cole because they also didn't burn the time off the shot clock either. You got to put it in the net there when you take that shot.
Under 2 minutes left. Here is Jones. Over to Church in the corner tonight. 11 on the shot clock. Back to Jones with a low shot save from Poulin. And a check off the rebound.
Loose
and
ball
it's going to
push.
be a loose ball push. And Saskatchewan will get it back. Poulin with a save. Ball's loose in the corner. Ben McIntosh fighting for it. He picks it up. $1:20 left, and we're going to get a timeout. Yeah, Brian Cole's going to have nightmares about that one. If the Swarm hang on to win this one, his teammates won't let him live that one down.
Yeah. It's a joke. So you got to think right now that Coach Keenan is talking about what they need to do on the immediate play, but then they're going to face off, and then they got to get right back into offense. So I have to imagine he's thinking 2 goals ahead here and planning out what they're going to do now, but also we score on the next face-off to get that second one.
And you can hear the Swarm fans coming to their feet here for the final 80 seconds. It's been a great crowd all night long. The NLL on full display. Again, I mentioned Ludacris at halftime. It has been just a fantastic night, not only for the league, but for the Swarm, the Rush, everybody involved.
And this has really been a huge year for the NLL. Those of you watching, you see all the new graphics and different look the league has. They have a new commissioner who is a seasoned sports executive who's taken his team, this whole league, in new directions. A lot of great things happen in this league. The best thing of all, though, is what's going on the floor. Action is unbelievable. The talent level is unbelievable, and we're seeing it here tonight. I'm wondering, and we're seeing it right now, that Mark Matthews is back at the point. He was on the inside in their first possession and on the backside lefty. Now they got him back at the point, and Georgia's chose to just come out and shut him off. They're not going to let Mark Matthews get a shot. They'll play 5-on-4 rather than risking Mark Matthews.
And that ball goes over and back. The Swarm get it. Connor Sells gets checked, falls to the turf, and he's going to send it across for an empty netter from Cole, who redeems himself.
You don't get very often second chances at open net goals. But Ryan Cole with the second one is able to put it away and pretty much put a cap on this one for the Georgia Swarm.
And in the ultimate of coincidences, 18 goals once again for the Swarm against the Saskatchewan Rush.
And you got to think that Derek Keenan is going to back and look at this and think, my defense did so many things right for so much of this game, but then it kind of fell apart. And when it was going right, I think it was the Rush defense that was making things happen. When it turned, it was the Swarm's offense just moving the ball too quickly for them to keep up.
Jeremy Thompson just buries his third of the night to stop, although it'll be all for naught. That's just cosmetic. Before that goal, the Swarm were on an 11-2 run into the fourth quarter.
And what happened there, though, is something that I think that the Swarm need to keep an eye on going forward in this series, is that's the 3rd or 4th time that Thompson has just won the ball forward cleanly. And in the past, they were deferring to the defensive end and didn't get scoring opportunities.
And the face-off pushed towards the Georgia zone, but picked up by the Rush. And a save from Poulin, and he gets the rebound. And there's a little over 30 seconds left, so the Swarm will have to.
And they don't even bring the goalie back on here. They leave Bold on the bench.
And I think the Swarm will just try to kill the rest of this clock here and throw it on net as the shot clock expires. Hall has to get that ball up against. Now being fought for, can't hang on to it. Ball is still loose, 10 seconds left to play. And the fans at the Hive are on their feet, waving their towels. 3 seconds left. Shot Poulin with a final save. The horn sounds, and the Swarm take game 1.
Well, I don't know if we could have had a better game to set up game 2. When the home team goes down, battles back, and dominates the end of the game, sets up the perfect opportunity for the Saskatchewan Rush to take things back home and get the job done in their place.
Things looked so bleak for the Swarm when it was 7-7. Midway through the third quarter, the arena was quiet, and just a 7-goal run changed everything. Your final in game 1, the Georgia Swarm 18, Saskatchewan Rush 14. And Jordan Hall, a big part of the catalyst, 5 goals tonight. Kyle Matisse with 3. Both Randy Stotts, Johnny Powers, Miles Thompson, Shane Jackson, all with 2. Game 2 of this series, June 10th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern in Saskatchewan. The Swarm will try to win one and win their first ever Champions Cup title, while the Saskatchewan Rush try to force a Game 3 here on June 18th.
Yeah, it'd be great to see a sellout up there in Saskatchewan. I know they do a great job coming out to support that team. It's going to be an outstanding game for sure.
So the Swarm beat the Rush 18-14 in Game 1. It was an exciting night here at the Hive. We thank you guys for joining us and watching the National Lacrosse League Champions Cup on NLLTV.com and Twitter.com. Have a great night, everyone.